roads are in the condition that they're in. Dwayne is a good member of parliament.
Welcome. We are here at Council One.
And because Dwayne is such a good member of parliament, the mayor of Kingston and St. Andrew, Desmond, not going to help Dwayne. I drove through Avondale a while ago and it's a shame. Parish Council Road. I drove through Wrongton, Desmond, and it's a shame. Parish Council Road. But the mayor not going to help Desmond, so the mayor not going to help Dwayne. So me and Desmond have to help Dwayne. So to the people of Northwest St. Andrew, Desmond and I are going to do some work on Border Avenue. Desmond and I are going to do some work on Highland Drive. Desmond and I are going to do some work on Flemington Drive, Riverside Drive, Watervale, Cool Shade, Meadowbrook, Rampton, and the worst one of all, where the mayor have to fix and the mayor no want to fix, Fairdean Avenue. I don't responsible for Parish Council Road. But I cannot sit and watch the people of Northwest St. Andrew suffer because the leadership of the Kingston and St. Andrew Municipal Corporation don't care about them. So I'm going to work with my Minister of Local Government and my cabinet colleague. And I'm going to show them the central government care about local government. Central government care for the people of Northwest St. Andrew.
Jamaica Labour Party Era Council One Truth Matters public meeting. I can't carry you the video because they'll restrict the page. You hear? I don't have no copyright permission to carry it. Labour Party, you don't need to give me the copyright.
I didn't want to touch on the mayor, but I have to. I never trouble the mayor. I ain't no business with the mayor. I mind my own business. And me hearing me call up me things. But as the lady saying at the back, the truth matters. When Delroy Williams was mayor, he used to get about $700 million a year to run the Kingston and St. Andrew Municipal Corporation. And the said mayor came and said, Mayor Williams, you need to spend more money to fix road. It so happened that Delroy is not mayor anymore. And the new mayor, I get $1 billion a year now. But him not increase the money to fix the road. You know when him increase the money to fix the road? When me go out there go cuss him say him need to fix the road. So why did it take a minister in central government to get the mayor of local government KCMC to fulfill his promise that he wants to put more money to fix local government road? And you have some of them going around and saying that the reason why them not fixing the road them is because the MP now give them the money. The MP does not control the money that goes to parish council. Desmond McKenzie makes sure the parish council independent so central government cannot ever starve parish council money again.
Jamaica Labour Party Era Council One meeting. Truth Matters public meeting. The Minister of Works speaking to us now, eh?
I don't want to hear
Nestor Morgan.
no councillor coming talk about say MP now give them no money. You have your own money, spend your own money for the people them in the division. We have some major projects that are in the making. Prime Minister would have announced the main road component of the Spark program. we're going to be spending $24 billion on 37 main roads across the island. These are roads that have not been fixed in decades. Roads like Manor Park to Glengough, spanning Delana Steve Wright and Juliet Cuthbert. Roads like Freetown to Four Pass, which includes Lothian Cousins and Purnell Jr. Roads like Dunrobin, New Road building over the gully to East King's House Road. Remember, Desmond, the reason why there is so much traffic on the boulevard is when the PNP build the boulevard, them never fix the bridge. We are going to finally fix the bridge. Remember when they built the boulevard, they laid a pipe and never connect the pipe. We are going to connect the pipe so that when you reach 6 Mile, it does not take you an hour from 6 Mile to reach Dunrobin, and you can go straight through to Barbican, straight through to the airport. No other government has ever invested this much in infrastructure since independence. No other government has invested in the western side of the island to build the perimeter road. So when you're going to Hanover, you don't have to spend 2 hours in Montego Bay. No other government has invested so much in St. Thomas so you can drive from Harborview to Portland in less than 2 hours. They wanted to build a road in St. Thomas and they wanted to make it a toll road. But our leader, Prime Minister, only said, no, the people of St. Thomas deserve a good, free road. And as a matter of fact, I'm going to throw in one town centre because Morant Bay don't look too good. So now we have brand new Morant Bay town centre for the people of St. Thomas.
Well,
and I couldn't leave without
Jamaica Labour Party Area Council, one meeting going on,
mentioning the bridge program. We are the first government that is going to build 55 bridges across the island one time. Almost every single parish will get a bridge. St. James, which was devastated by the hurricane, will get 10 bridge. Westmoreland, which was devastated by the hurricane, will get 4. St. Elizabeth, which was destroyed by the hurricane, is gonna get bridges. We are gonna replace the Black River Bridge.
TikTok, we're gonna have to restart. TikTok, we're gonna have to restart, okay? So stay with us, YouTube, TikTok, moderator, we have to restart TikTok. Sorry about that. Coming right back. All right.
And the people of Jamaica can have confidence that these are not promises, as is demonstrated by the fact that you can go all around the island and see the...
All right. Is there a number to contact this channel? Yes, there is a number to contact the channel. Let me give it to you here. It is actually 876-858-9553. That's 876-858-9553.
The infrastructure development that has already taken place, you can be sure that once Prime Minister Andrew Holness announced it, you can almost sign for it. So Desmond, the truth matters, because the people of Jamaica for too long been subjected to the misdirection and lies of an antiquated political party, so many times rejected by the people of Jamaica, and they refuse to reform themselves to be a credible opposition. And the last thing as I close my book, Desmond, I want to say to the people of Jamaica. Some people love Bubu Yaga. Some people love bamboo fire. Them love when things blaze up and all a nice make.
Welcome
Some
back
of you have been watching the parliament
welcome back to
and you've been seeing the nasty behavior taking place in the parliament. Let me say this clear today, once and for all. It is not the JLP that brought nasty behavior to the parliament. When they sit over there and they say the most disrespectful things to the speaker, it is not the JLP that is disrespecting the speaker. When the Prime Minister has to stand up for his wife in Parliament because of the things they are saying, we have no choice but to back him and support decency, respectability, honor, credibility, and accountability in the Parliament of Jamaica. We will never resile from what is right. We will never allow lies to destroy our country. Because, ladies and gentlemen, labor rights, everyone listening across Jamaica, the truth matters. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen.
Truth matters. Broadcast from Jamaica Labour Party, Era Council 1, Truth Matters public meeting.
You know, and I want to
Desmond McKenzie,
say, ladies and
Minister of
gentlemen,
Local Government.
outside of
Yes.
this room, because people are watching and listening to us. But Minister Morgan touched some critical points. And I want to follow up on what
It's great to see the minister. He got a little challenge there with the pepper spray, but he's up and doing well.
they talk about. They're not getting any money from local government. They can't get money to do this. They can't get money to do that. I want to give the country tonight
Christopher Campbell, are you a platform for the,
some numbers.
the JLP party? Christopher Campbell, why are you asking that?
States
Are you a platform for the JLP party?
of local government
What do you think, Christopher?
to the municipal corporation.
Live from Jamaica Labour Party, Era Council 1.
The monthly allocation from property taxes. Property taxes is what pays the salaries of councillors. It pays the entire staff of the municipal corporation.
Christopher Campbell, labor rights are inherently what? No one in their right mind can say this government isn't corrupt. What you saying, Christopher Campbell?
The Ministry of Finance
Guys, I'm talking to some
has
folks
provided
over by you.
additional funding to the National Solid Waste Management Authority.
Yes.
So that
Mine Thursday.
the property taxes
Truth matters.
can be used to finance the operation of the municipal corporation. Over $700 million on a monthly basis is allocated to the municipal corporations from property taxes.
Oh, you hear that?
Councillors get allocation for beautification. When I was mayor of Kingston, I started what was known as a small project. Give them 25,000. Now it's gone to over 300,000. Councillors can use it to erect street signs. They can use it to fix up parks. Allocations are provided for councillors from property taxes for that. So when you hear them talk, them not getting no money, mash down that lie. The truth matters.
Truth matters. Truth matters, eh?
Over 600 million every month is provided to the municipal corporations for road maintenance. And that is divided between all the municipal corporations. I'm not saying that the 600 million divided amongst the 14 municipal corporations is adequate, but the country don't know that the municipal corporation have what is known as own source revenues. They have 20 streams of revenues that they control, that they have the powers to spend. Last year alone, the local authorities collected more than 64 billion Jamaican dollars
What?
from building fees.
What? What?
From the approval process. That is what was spent. So when you hear them telling you that them do have no money, they have their own source revenue.
Where money there?
Barbers, hairdressers, advertising, market fees, cemetery fees, butcher's license.
What?
Ladies and gentlemen,
So where the money gone?
this year, and I want them to come out and dispute it, we have provided to the municipal corporations over $75 million, 300,000 for each division, to substitute what they get from the monthly allocation for drain cleaning. 70 million has been provided. Each division get 300 million. 300,000, I'm sorry. So enough is a wish. Each division gets 300,000 and the mayor get a little bit more. Back to school is coming. Councillors never used to get back to school allocation. It was since Andrew Holness' government came in 2016. That as the Minister of Local Government, we provide back to school assistance for councillors. The truth matters.
Say that again, Caroline.
Please read my messages.
Okay. All right. So we're bringing you some excerpts from the Jamaica Labour Party Area Council 1 meeting, and of course the meeting is dubbed Truth Matters. Truth Matters. Truth Matters meeting put on by the Jamaica Labour Party. There is a break in the feed coming from over at I think they're over in Kingston. There's a break in the feed, and so we have lost the feed coming from so as soon as we get back the feed, we will
Could you go to Nesta Morgan's page and you will get the live feed, please, on TikTok?
Well, I'm streaming live from the Labour Party's hold on, that's not it. Stream. So I think they have a break in that. Oh, let me see if I can find it over here. Yeah, meeting. The meeting live. Okay, let's see if I can bring it up here. Okay, I think I have it back. All right, let's see if we can get some more of the audio.
And I announced that we will
As I said, we can't show the video because they're going to restrict it, okay?
to certain municipality to assist with the trucking of water. Well, a man sent me a video with a councillor in Clarendon in a orange shirt telling the people that he passed a resolution. The resolution was approved and he's getting a water truck for his municipal division. Mash down that lie. The truth matters. And let me make it clear to the people. Let me make it clear to the people in Moko division. We make no allocation to divisions for the purchase of water trucks. We provide funds to the municipality to help to truck water. The truck that is going to Clarendon is for the entire parish of Clarendon and not for Moko, like how they put out the video. So why you think Jamaicans, we have to talk? We're not campaigning. The truth matters. And if we don't talk about the goodness of the government of Dr. Andrew Michael Holness, nobody's not going to talk about the goodness.
Truth matters.
Last thing before I bring the next speaker.
Well,
We get a whole heap of cussing as it relates to the shelter in Petersfield in Westmoreland. The problems in Westmoreland is that every step we made in helping to solve the problems, we get pushback. They don't want to pay the contractor. They don't want to do this. They don't want to do that. Then them get some people from outside who go in there and is questioning the people in the shelter. When we move the people, after the PNP then come out using a certain man to say that they were having sex in the shelter.
oh my God.
How can any man who consider themselves to be an educator,
Oh my
who
God.
stands up in front of a class to teach people picnic and lie to the country,
So, Mr. Malawi, was
lie to the country, and I don't have the gall to come out and say, I am sorry, I lie?
What? The JTA president was like,
Remove them out of the school. Put them into a proper surrounding.
what is happening here?
I want the country to know that every man and woman who's in a shelter
The
today,
JTA president was
and it
like,
is under 100 Jamaicans
God.
that still remain in shelters. It's only 8 families in Petersfield.
Fascinating.
We
stuff.
are paying rent for close to 60 Jamaicans through the SDC.
Wow.
Every man and woman and child
Well, this is
who is in a
breaking
shelter
The JTA
who
president was lying.
don't have a home. We are feeding them. We provide 2 meals a day for them. And they go around and create mischief. Now we start to put down the houses in Petersfield. And I see them now I run round and I take photo and I send it round and say, it's because of our representation, the houses them come. We're mashing down the
Oh
lies.
my God. What a something.
And the country must
What a wicked
understand
people them.
that we as a government cannot be irresponsible.
Uh-huh.
When we started the work, the agency said, no,
Mash
you have to
down
follow
line.
the guidelines.
Mash down line meeting.
We stopped to follow the guidelines. We're getting a beating for it. But at the end of
Labor
the
rights
day,
on the roll.
those families in Petersfield in Westmoreland will be better
March
off
down the line
because the
campaign.
government have responded and we are fulfilling the commitment that we made.
PNP lies getting mashed down. Mash them down.
And so
Mash them
the
down.
truth matters.
Truth matters.
And what is important tonight is getting the facts out.
You hear that? You hear that? That the JTA president was sent out to lie for the PNP? You hear what the minister said?
Asking everyone to tap the screen and share the
Mr.
live.
Malava? Mr. Malava lie that people were having sex and not no gossip? Malava, you a liar? The Malava, I saw you lie. The president of the JTA was sent out to lie. Oh God.
Industry and commerce has been a major achievement of this administration.
The Jamaica
Because
Labour
what
Party
is-
Area Council won Truth Matters public meeting. We're bringing you a live audio feed from the meeting. But I can't believe what I'm hearing here. That the JTA president lied when he said that people were having sex in front of students. You know, what a point we are in this country. This is serious, you know. When the president of the JTA can be so misleading, my God and my God, my God. Let's go back to the meeting, the Jamaica Labour Party Truth Matters public meeting. Them said they're mashing down the line. Let's go back in and hear what's happening.
My friends, I am happy at the turnout.
Delano Seabright.
St.
He's
Anne's,
the state minister in the Ministry of Industry and Commerce.
led by the great Dwayne Smith from the Derek Smith family. So, thank you, Deputy Leader, Ministers, MPs, Councillors. I see the first female president of G2K, Shoshana Edwards. Give her a round of applause for being here. Vice President Chad Rattray. Thank you, Tashana. Because, guys, what is happening now, you know? We have to start planning engagements now on a monthly basis.
Wow.
Where we can have meetings so we can see each other, communicate with each other, and give the deputy leader credit. He instructed us to do this, that we need to start meeting on a regular basis so we can talk to each other. Not talk down to anybody. We're all one team. We're all flesh and blood. We're all in this together. And we have to fight together to run for the fourth term when it comes. And that
If they're gonna have fourth monthly meeting, fourth term.
acknowledge the birthday of one of the strongest speakers in the world, the great member of parliament for East Rural St. Andrew, Juliet Holness. Wish her a happy birthday, please.
Today is Mrs. Holness' birthday. The Labour Party saying that they're going to be having monthly meeting, mashing down PNP lies as they go for the fourth term. What a something.
For the people, that
Politics is about to get nice in Jamaica.
round of applause too. The truth matters because Andrew Holness has exemplified what it means to be a phenomenal leader. Andrew Holness won the 2016 election, remember, by one seat, and governed this country effectively all the way to 2020 with one seat majority in parliament. We got hit by the COVID-19 pandemic. Other governments lost in the COVID-19 pandemic. The Labour Party pick up power, 48 seats. That, my friends, is an example and a true exemplification of a strong leader in Andrew Michael Holness, our Prime Minister and leader of the Jamaica Labour Party. And why these series matter is that we have to protect success. Because here we are, 2020 to 2025. We work our way through the COVID-19 pandemic as a country and under proper leadership. Then we get hit by hurricane.
Live from Era Council 1, Truth Matters public meeting is 7:43. You're on the Hello Neighbor show.
Focused on development.
And we're carrying you the live audio from Era Council 1, Truth Matters public meeting.
An unprecedented third term again under the leadership of Andrew Michael Holness. But ever since winning that 2025 election and going through that campaign, as a new MP, I am puzzled as to why the opposition is so angry. It's as if they're in a state of perpetual campaigning, despite the fact that they lost 3 times in a row. And where we are now is that we have to go back to some of the old school tactics that we learned from Babsy Grange, and we learned from Desmond McKenzie, and we learned from Bruce Golding and Derek Smith, and the great Carl Samuda.
Wow.
And their tactic in the 70s and 80s was face-to-face meetings, pounding the pavement, meeting people, talking to people. So despite the fact that all of us are on TikTok and WhatsApp and Facebook and Instagram, we still need to see each other on a regular basis so we can sit as a family, discuss our issues, have our arguments, and decide how we plan to move this country forward under the leadership of Andrew Michael Holness and Shower Labour Rights. So as we move forward, we will continue to focus on the truth and sharing the truth, because negativity sells. It is true. Negativity sells. And it's hard in an environment where you have so much information piling in every day. This is why we had to move to have these series, because we have to now start talking directly, because people are getting confused in them. I see people sharing videos with me of a certain vlogger and the lies. It's not just lies enough, friends. We call it disinformation. They literally build lies and put it out there, and they use AI, and they use a TikTok, and they use Instagram, and they use WhatsApp, and they spread it. And then sometimes our own people, including us in this room, sharing it with each other. And then the lie perpetuates till people think it's truth. So that's why the truth matters. We have to ensure that we stay connected and grounded with the people. And we know things are not perfect. We know that the cost of living is a challenge. It is the same challenge in America. You have any friends in Canada, they complain about the challenges there. You have friends in England, Kevin, they complain about the challenges there. The cost of living is stressing people out. But nonetheless, when you look at the record of leadership and the stable leadership, where we cut crime in half, where the economy is stable, when you look at the foreign exchange rate, the dollar today is about 158 to 1. You're a money man, you're supposed to know that.
Boy, I tell you, this is the JLP Council, Jamaica Labour Party Era Council 1, Truth Matters public meeting. I wonder if they've been listening to this program. Yeah? We've been telling them to do all of this long time ago. All of a sudden, it's on it. Well, congratulations. I tell you, but did you hear the local government minister, that Mr. Malava, the JTA president, lied when he said that adults were having sex in front of students? Did you hear that? That's going to be a big story, you know. I'm going to have to spend some. Mr. Malava, you're a liar, sir. And that the lie was probably orchestrated out of the PNP. So the PNP is sending out people to lie. Mr. Malava is a pawn. What a fascinating story that is going to be. Delano Seabright is speaking at the Jamaica Labour Party Area Council 1 Truth Matters meeting, 13 minutes to 8 o'clock. Let's go back.
5 years ago, the dollar was 153 to 1. You think under PNP administration, the dollar would be 158 to 1 today, when it was 5 years ago, 153 to 1 labor rights? No, it would probably be at 210 to 1. So you have to understand the context of the times we're living in. Imagine what it would have been like if the JLP was not in power under the leadership of a Minister Favour Williams, under the leadership of a Robert Nesta Morgan, under the leadership of a Delroy Chuck. We have to understand that even though there are challenges, it could have been 10 times worse under another administration. And even the Ministry of Industry, under the leadership of Albin Hill, we have worked now closely to ensure we focus on small businesses and micro businesses. You see what we're doing with ganja? We're opening up ganja, and people make money out of ganja now, and we're moving on a legal footing to encourage people into the space. That is what we're about. When you look at the work we're doing with Minister Favour Williams, we have now set aside 20% of all public procurement to go directly to micro and small businesses. So you need to register your companies, start your businesses, and start bidding for government contracts. It is $37 billion in value, and some of you here can get some of that money. Start building your business. The truth matters. And as we continue, and that will belong because we have good speakers, we want to ensure that we continue to spread the good news and the work of this government. Because in fairness to Andrew Michael Holness, it's impossible for him to do it alone. We need the support of each and every one of us to carry the message of success that this government continues to perpetuate on a daily basis, despite not being perfect. When we look at the investments coming into the country, the work of Edmund Bartlett, you have to be amazed by it. We just came through Hurricane Melissa last year, a Category 5 plus hurricane, destroy half the country. And here we are today, electricity returned in 4 months. In 3 months, light came back, thanks to the leadership of Andrew Holness and Darrell Vaz. These are the messages we need to put out there. In Puerto Rico, when they got hit by Hurricane Maria in 2017, a Category 4 storm, Puerto Rico, which is a part of the United States of America, it took 1 year for the light to come back in full for the people of Puerto Rico. Imagine if right now half of Jamaica is still in darkness, because that would have been the case. But if it was not for the thoughtful, smart leadership of our Prime Minister, Minister Vaz and the team, we would be in darkness today. So as we continue to focus on our country and focus on our constituencies and our divisions, I want to leave you with an important note. We have been mandated to continue to engage the community on a daily basis as much as possible. We're going to start having some lines across the area council in respective communities, and the team will start organizing those. The deputy leader insists that we must also have some church. We forgot church. From time to time, we have a church thing in North Central or in North West or in Central Kingston, Impact Bars. We need to go church Impact Bars. It's an Argentina fan, you know. That's why I'm so hyped today, you know. But nonetheless, we have to continue to build that communication and work together as a party and as a people on a face-to-face basis. Because sometimes we're under pressure. It is very difficult because the demands are high and it's a lot. But sometimes it's better to at least be able to communicate yes or no, and we can see each other and talk to each other as good citizens and supporters of our party. Give a round of applause to that kind of leadership. As we continue to move forward as a country, I want you two to know you.
Well, it appears as if the Jamaica Labour Party is going to be doing something about its public relations. Many of its supporters have been calling for this. The party, Area Council 1, is suggesting that they are going to be having a number of meetings, Truth Matters meetings, because the party is admitting that they are under pressure, that the disinformation is beginning to take hold, and the party is concerned that if they don't do something about it, then it could hurt the party. We've been saying that a long time, that government or governing must be paired with politicking. It's political parties that win elections. Yes, governing must be paired with politicking. You have to play the politics. You have to get on the ground. You have to talk to the people. You have to push back. And did we not talk to you about the difference between misinformation and disinformation? Misinformation is a mistake, a genuine mistake. But where we are in Jamaica is that people are deliberately lying, like the minister said of Mr. Malava. Let's go back in and listen to the minister, Minister Mackenzie.
I have to talk about the goodness of the Labour
Asking
Party.
everyone to tap the screen, share the live, repost the live, and send some.
We are a party that ensure that we involve all Jamaicans. Through the Social Development Commission, the SDC. And you know, these people are so barefaced and dishonest. Them lie.
Them
damn lie.
Them lie.
One of them get up in Parliament the other day
Listen to this.
in the sectorial presentation and spoke about the many JLP candidates that is employed by the Social Development Commission. None of the people employed by the SDC, when they were employed, are serving members of the Labour Party. They call out one man who ran an election more than 10 years, the chairman of the SDC. They call out the name of the executive director who ran 15 years ago to the Labour Party. But let me ask the question. Is it a crime that if you contest a seat for a party, that you can't be employed in government once you have the qualification? Is that what they are saying? But they don't tell you that the SDC used to be run by a former minister of local government who had responsibility. A former general secretary of the PNP was employed to the SDC.
Oh my.
Just before the last election in 2016, the chairman of the SDC board was the former chairman of the PNP region 4 corporate area. Region 3 was chairman of the SDC board. We never made an issue out of it.
That's a PNP lie.
What we are looking for are persons who are competent. And once they can, they are entitled to work. And that is something that we believe in. We retain former members of parliament in jobs when we took office. But yet they go in the parliament and talk about we politicizing the work of the SDC. Ladies and gentlemen, let me tell you tonight, the Social Development Commission under this government is one of the best institutions that we can find in this country. And I challenge any member of the opposition to deny that they have not had a good working relationship with the SDC, where they have gotten benefits out of programs run by the SDC. And yet they get up trying to confuse the country. Because what they used to do before, we are not doing it now. And I want to announce tonight.
Okay.
That come August, the Social Development Commission will be launching a 50 million entrepreneurial grant for small businesses in communities right across the country.
Subscribe to the YouTube channel. Come on.
And both
subscribe
PNP and NEP at all
Matter Jamaica
will benefit from it. Because what we deal in is the needs of the community.
Politics
and we're not asking which party you join.
Go and subscribe now, please. Thank you.
Again, we have to mash down the lies. When we announce the 77 million to assist the churches, they cost we out. You know, the first place I made the announcement was in Westmoreland. Ladies and gentlemen, let me tell you something. That funds that we provide for the churches have helped the churches in a great way. How many Jamaicans is aware of the work of our churches in our various communities? Why is it you question the wisdom of our government to help the churches in a time of need? Now, when some of the wife or husband left, we don't run to the church for counseling. When we want to get married, No, in our church. And when you're dead, when you want to go to church. And so tonight, I announced earlier on at the last Sunday over, the government of Dr. Andrew Holness is going to be providing another $50 million to assist the churches in the parishes of Clarendon, St. Ann, and Manchester.
Church is getting more money.
Through the SDC that was affected by Hurricane Melissa.
Okay.
This is a caring government. A government who understands. And that is why we have a Minister of Finance.
Well,
who, despite all the challenges that we face,
Finance Minister Favour Williams is at the meeting. She's about to speak now. This is the Jamaica Labour Party Area Council 1 Truth Matters public meeting. The party is admitting that, this information is taking root, and the party is concerned. The party is admitting that they are under little pressure, but they are pushing back. Yes, and social media, TikTok, Facebook, all over the place. People are being paid to tell lies, paid to make videos, and the party is saying that, you know, they're going to be looking at having more meetings, town hall meetings, attending church services, and all of that, because the PNP's line in parliament, the line on the radio, the line on social media. And so quite an appropriate response from the party, don't you think, listeners? It's about time that the party jumps into the ring and start to throw a few punches of their own. Now, we're not encouraging violence here. We're talking about politics, because of course truth matters. Let's go back to the meeting and hear from the Finance Minister, Favour Williams.
Liberites, where are my St. Andrew Eastern people? Yeah. Let me acknowledge Deputy Leader, all my colleagues, ministers, members of Parliament, all our councillors,
Finance
our
Minister Favour
councillor
Williams.
caretakers, our caretaker MPs, Laborites all. Let me acknowledge as well the first female president of G2K, Shoshana Lee Edwards. Of course, I have to acknowledge MP Dwayne Smith and all the Laborites in this constituency. We welcome Dwayne as our new chairman of Area Council 1.
So Dwayne Smith has been elected chairman of Area Council 1.
Area Council in all of Jamaica. Yeah. I want to especially thank Mr. Ennis for the years of service to Area Council 1. We could always count on Mr. Ennis to be at Area Council 1 meeting. And I will always remember him saying, whenever he chairs the meeting, coming next to greet us is so-and-so. Every time, coming next to greet us. Mr. Ennis, we wish you well.
Asking everyone on this page
Laborites,
to go over to the next page because
Laborites,
this one is on the restrictions.
I really like the title this afternoon. The truth matters. Get the facts. And tonight, I want to especially speak to the young people. Those who have joined the Jamaica Labour Party and those who are thinking about joining the Jamaica Labour Party. I want to tell you the facts, the truth about the Jamaica Labour Party, because that is what convinced me to join this noble party. I want to say to the young people, 83 years ago, one man stood at War Theatre, one victory sign, one bell, and he said, enough. Enough poverty, enough neglect, enough of the small man told.
The Finance Minister there speaking at the Jamaica Labour Party Area Council 1 Truth Matters public meeting. Of course, this meeting is being held against the backdrop of a number of false information that has gone out into the Jamaican society, backed by powerful groups in the media, civil society. Some would call them uncivilized or uncivic, if we could coin a word. Melissa, TCN. Yes, so many things happening in Jamaica, and the Prime Minister has been providing very steady leadership. But the opposition, they have been really obstructionists. You know, in the spotlight tonight, I wanted to talk to you about how Mark missed the mark. I'm hearing whispers that the leadership challenge to him is real and that he's likely to step away because he doesn't want to face the embarrassment of a loss. So I'm hearing that he's not likely to face an election and that there are negotiations happening to avoid it. Very, very interesting. It's amazing that we have just come out of an election less than a year ago. As a matter of fact, 10 months. And the Jamaica Labour Party is back on the streets because it cannot cede the streets to the PNP. The PNP is gearing up for their conference in September. They are mobilizing for the conference. The Jamaica Labour Party, of course, they will have their conference in November. You know, there were no conferences held last year because of the hurricane. But the politics is about to get very interesting. Very, very interesting. The government's message is being drowned out by the coordinated media, social media, functionaries, civil society groups. The government's message is being drowned out, and the party is responding tonight. Yeah, well, listen to Audley.
Yes, Papa. I know, man.
I think that we have much to share with you. Let's go back in and hear from the finance minister.
What does it mean to have 140% debt to GDP? It means that if we continued like that, every Jamaican will be walking with one hand in front of them and one hand behind them, because all of what we earn as a country, or most of it, will be going towards paying interest on the debt. Now, Jamaicans, the debt is under 69%. And it's heading to 60% by 2030. Even after Hurricane Melissa, the worst that the planet has seen, even after that, not one credit rating agency downgraded us. Labor rights, that is not luck. That is hard work. That is discipline. And labor rights, you know that we increased the tax threshold. When we came to power, it was about $500,000. Now it's at 1.9 million and heading to $2 million. Labor rights, some 4,000 more police are on our street. Policemen and women are there to protect us. Murders are down, and I see our minister over there to the lowest level since we started counting the numbers. And Bustamante, small men and women, are standing right here today in the middle of it. It's a young woman who walked out of heart with a trade. It's a young man who was able...
Not hearing the finance minister so well, I'm not so sure what's happening today. The audio, let's see if we can pick that up a little bit more.
We have not arrived. We still have work to do. We still have an energy sector to transform. We have a public service to modernize so that they can better serve the Jamaican people. and labor rights, I want to say to you, we are enjoying the third straight victory. But labor rights, it is not a trophy to put on the shelf. It is a debt we owe every voter every single day. So are we the party that built the nation's independence? Yes. Are we the party that is building its strongest economy? Yes. Are we the party still standing for the small man and woman, exactly like Bustamante in 1943? Labor rights, Bustamante rang the freedom bell in 1943. Tonight, that bell is in our hands. We are the party of the green color. We are the party of the victory sign. One bell, one Jamaica, one Labour Party, one Andrew Holness.
Ring the bell, make you ring the Labour bell. Ring the bell, Jamaica, ring the Labour bell. So many achievements.
All right, thank you.
Well, I tell you, that's the finance minister.
So many achievements.
The
Labour bell.
Labour bell.
Ring the bell, Jamaica, ring the Labour bell.
Well, I tell you,
The Labour bell. Ring the bell, Jamaica, ring the Labour bell.
boy, I tell
So
you.
many achievements.
We are the party of the victory. One Andrew Holness.
Ring the bell, make you ring the Labour bell. Ring the bell, Jamaica, ring the Labour bell.
I tell you.
So many achievements.
All right, thank you.
Uh-huh.
Now, ladies and gentlemen, justice is an important aspect of the Labour Party's policy. Notice in Parliament the other day, whole heap of excitement. But we probably have easily the best justice minister ever since independent Jamaica. Let's welcome the Honorable Delroy Chuck, Minister of Justice and Constitutional Affairs.
All right, so Justice Minister Chuck is about to address the JLP Era Council 1 Truth Matters public meeting. They said that you have to ring the Labour bell. Ring the bell, ring the Labour bell. Let's go in and hear from Delroy Chuck.
Smith's constituency of Northwest St. Andrew. I'm glad because his father, Derek Smith, and I worked very closely together. And 30 years ago, it was Derek Smith who introduced me to Northeast St. Andrew and helped me with my councillor, Joy Cottrell, to make sure that Northeast St. Andrew remained for the last 30 years, almost 30 years, a Labour Party constituency. And it will remain a Labour Party constituency for many, many, many more terms. I want to also thank the outgoing chairman, Winston Ennis, my councillor, who did a fantastic job as chairman of Era Council 1. And I have no doubt that Dwayne has learned a lot from him, and Era Council 1 will continue to be the best Era Council across the island. Let me say labor rights. You have heard the previous speakers and the theme Truth Matters,
Truth matters.
we must always bear in mind. Because we have some people, some bloggers,
Bloggers.
some propagandists
Uh-oh.
on social media and across Jamaica
Lord,
trying to put negative thoughts,
bloggers are getting lots of
misinformation,
attention, you know.
innuendos, everything to destroy the best government Jamaica has ever seen, the Andrew Holness-led administration.
Oh boy.
And I don't want to go into all the negatives that they have been spewing and give it any oxygen. I want to concentrate on positive things for the few minutes I have. First of all, how many of you recall when Darrell Vaz said he's going to have a school bus program? Do you recall what the PNP did? How they undermined it and said it can't work? You can endanger the children. The parents don't want it. Labor rights across the country now. Every parent not only praising the bus system, school bus system, but begging for more. And I understand Minister Vaz is like bringing more school bus so the PNP can shut their mouth and really support a great program. How many of you, we have to talk about the positive things that is happening in this country? How many of you realize that for the first time in our history, for 4 straight consecutive years, crime has gone down? Murder is going down? No time in our history have we ever seen where a government is able to manage and support the police so that crime is going down, murder is going down for 4 consecutive years. And it's this Andrew Holness-led administration that has given the security forces the technology, the vehicles, and the manpower. As Minister Favour Williams told you, they have moved the complement of the police force from 10,000 to 14,000. And that is why labor rights, for the last 4 years, 2023, murder went down 9%. 2024, 19%. Last year, 42%. And this year, 20% already. And labor rights, this is where the Ministry of Justice is coming in, because we want to help the police. We want to help Jamaica to really fix their problems, resolve their disputes, settle their conflicts, because these are what are contributing to many of the violent crimes in Jamaica. So labor rights, the Minister of Justice, and let me put it this way, every level of the Jamaican society is improving in some way, as Minister Williams told you, at every level, every department. And there's no greater improvement in any sector than the Justice Ministry. The Justice Ministry is not, the system is now enjoying its best days ever. And I've been around for the better part of 50 years. When I used to go to court, you're lucky if court operating. No light, no air condition. No. When you go to the courts, at least you have air condition. And it works. The place is clean. And let me tell you something. Most of these courts are close to 100 years old. So it is difficult to fix them. But we spend a lot of money trying to make sure that when your persons go to court, they can get justice in an atmosphere that is decent and attractive. But one thing I can tell you, within the next 2 years, we are going to build at least 8 courts. And these courts must last for the next 100 years. So every court will be a temple of justice in every parish. When people pass there, they must see a temple of justice. How many of you have passed the first one being built down St. Thomas in Moreland Bay? When you see that court, you can see an attractive court. And when we fit it out during soon and open it up, if not later this year, early next year, this will be a classical court in the Jamaican system. And we are going to build 4 more, one in Westmoreland and St. Elizabeth that Hurricane Melissa damaged, and also in St. Anne and Trelawney that Hurricane Melissa also damaged. And we are going to build others. But when you think, labor rights, when we came to power in 2016, the justice sector was in total crisis. The judges were threatening to go on strike. I mean, if you remember that, I can show you the papers. The judges were going to take the government, the then government, to court over salaries. I have the clips. Because they were the worst paid judges in the Caribbean. No, labor rights. The judges are the best paid in the Caribbean. Their salaries have doubled over the last many years. And when you came, lawyers who did legal aid work couldn't get paid. They were begging that when I came to office, they begged me, so what you can do, Mr. Chuck, to make sure we get some money. They owe us a couple of years.
Wow.
People had judgment against the government, have been paid judgment debt. Within a matter of 3-4 years. We have to be begging the lawyers to send in their bills so we can pay them. We have to tell people for the settle no debt on the judgment, we can pay you. So for the last 4, in the second term, from 2018, we don't owe nobody. We don't owe no lawyers, and we don't owe anybody who have succeeded in any case against the government. That is the Andrew Holness-led administration, the success of our ministers of finance to be able to garner the revenue that the Ministry of Justice can get things done and make sure that our people can get what they deserve. And then we started.
All right, you have to send the heart me's and repost the live. We are at the Jamaica Labour Party Era Council 1 Truth Matters public meeting, reminding our friends on TikTok to repost and send heart me's, reminding our friends on YouTube to subscribe and like the page. Okay, let's go back in.
But for the last 10, 15, 20 years, they have been trying to go and live a straight life. And finally, they were able to get the opportunity now. And I'm happy to report that we increased the number on the committee from 5 to 9. And I told the members, make sure that you meet regularly and remove the backlog of almost 2,000 cases. And the backlog has now been removed. So all applications before 2026 have been dealt with. So persons now who have cases, who have been convicted and are going straight, you can apply and you might get the record expunged. One area that we have not yet expunged are those persons who have been convicted for gun offenses. And I say to those people across Jamaica who have guns and creating havoc in their communities, put it down. Because if you use it and you get convicted, you have a whole heap of problem. And you could live with that offense for the rest of your life. So think about it as you move with your gun. Make sure you get rid of it. But let me say, labor rights, we must support the police to bring crime even further down. And we must work closely with the police. But we must also work with ourselves. And that is why we have a social justice system where if you have disputes, you must learn to settle it. You don't have to pull knife and threaten people. You must find a way that when you have an argument, when you have a disagreement, you can settle it. Labor rights, we must be calm, peaceful, harmonious people. And I want to speak about how you can ensure now that you live the life of peace. Because I'm saying to you, only this week, we have passed the Mediation Act. And I want to spend a few minutes to tell you about it. This Mediation Act will be added on to restorative justice. And you know, my friend Dwayne Smith said, there's a restorative justice center in the Pembroke Hall Center, and it is saving lives. Because when people have committed offense against with one another, they go there and restore their relationship. And we have 22 of these restorative justice centers right across Jamaica. And we have justice centers in every parish, so that anyone who have a dispute, have a problem, they can go to the justice center, or they can call AAA Justice and get direction how they can solve and heal their problems. So apart from restorative justice, child diversion, and victim services expungement, we're now going to add mediation, which will be my focus over the next 12 months. Because we want a mediator in every square mile of Jamaica. We want every pastor to be trained in mediation. Every teacher to be trained in mediation. Because the idea of this mediation bill is to ensure that mediation is widely known, widely practiced, widely used. But those persons who are going to charge as mediators must be certified. So they are professional mediators who, once they are trained and certified, then they can charge the parties. Or, as happens now, if the court refers the parties to mediator and they can't afford it, we, the government, pay it now. And believe me, last year, over 3,000 settlements were made. 80% of the cases that went to them. And the Ministry of Justice paid out $55 million. And I don't mind paying out $500 million if people can come together and settle their matters. Ladies and gentlemen, disagreement is good. Nothing is wrong with you disagreeing. It is a part of the democratic process. It's a part of who you are. It's a part of you thinking differently from your brother or sister or your friend. So nothing is wrong in having a different opinion. Some people support Argentina, some support Spain, and you hear them arguing, but we don't want them fighting. So, what I'm trying to say to you, that is so generally in any human relationship. You're going to have disagreements. But when you have disagreements, you must verbalize it. No reason to tighten the fist like the PNP, like you want to punch. You must open your hand and say, let us talk about it. Let us talk about it. And that is what mediation is about. When you can't together settle your argument, we're going to ask people across Jamaica, if you can't settle your argument, you can't settle your dispute, you can't settle your contractual arrangement, go to a mediator. Go to the Justice Center, and we will appoint a mediator to assist you to resolve the conflict that you may have. Ladies and gentlemen, it is working, I tell you, 80% of the matters referred by the courts to mediators have been settled. And so this Mediation Act now is to ensure that we expand it to communities. Not only to communities where communities can refer to mediators, and we'll explain further how it will be done, because we are going to have what you call mediation service providers who you can contact, and they will assist in providing the mediators. But apart from that, we're going to try to expand the mediation even more in the courts. But if parties, before they go to court, can just go to a mediation or get a mediator, we can have less burden on the court. The court is overwhelmed, and there's no need for you to spend a whole heap of money, high price like lawyer like me, to come help you settle. You go to a mediation center and you get a mediator, and if you can't settle, then you go to court. But the likelihood is that if you and your partner say, let us choose a mediator, and you know, verbalize it. Because mediation is a win-win situation. Both parties participate. When you go to court and the judge make a decision, it's a win-lose. And the one who loses hate you forever. Hate the winner forever. So we have to try to see labor rights. And we get started on the labor rights. See if we can work with one another. Settle our arguments. Settle our conflicts. And keep Jamaica a peaceful place. And then we want Jamaica to be a mediation center for the hemisphere. Once we roll out mediation and it is working, we can tell the rest of the Caribbean, tell the rest of the hemisphere, we have great mediators in Jamaica. You know, this is what is happening in Singapore. So we are ratifying now the Singapore Convention on Mediation, because countries, Indonesia, Australia, everywhere, they go and settle their arguments, their problems, their contractual arrangements in Singapore. And we want Jamaica to be like that. So those are some of the objectives of the mediation now. And labor rights, you're going to hear much more about it from me over the next month or so, because every single one of you, we're going to pay the trainers and the mediators to come and sensitize communities about mediation. We want people to be trained in mediation so that people know the strategy, how you get people to control their anger, how you get people to say, calm down, no? Let us hear each side. Let us hear each side, because it's not only one side, you know. The other side have something to say. So if both sides can really utter and say what they want, then the likelihood you can verbalize and settle it. And that labor right is why this justice ministry is the best ministry and the best justice system we are having. Because we want our Jamaica people to live in peace and harmony. And we want Jamaica to be a first world country. And it can only happen under a Labour Party government. So let me say this. Labour rights. You have heard from the previous speakers, especially Minister Williams. You have a challenge there whenever the PNP is in point. They're always critical, looking for something wrong, looking for an argument. You hear they're the most vocal people in the community. Cuss off everybody. That's not us labor rights. When you cuss, when them cuss, you just ignore them. Don't get in any argument with them. Because we in the Labour Party, right across Jamaica, we want to make sure that Jamaica can be the peaceful place that God meant it to be. And I'm saying, once we have peace, once we can settle our differences, crime can go down and will go down. And that is why you notice we in government, we rarely argue with the PNP, you know. Them cuss and them argue and we ignore them. See, that is why we try to straighten out and say truth matters. So what we want to do, we are coming here, we're not quarreling with them anywhere, you know. We come and we straighten out the truth. And I'm saying to you, Labourites, when you look at the history, it is only when the Labour Party is in power that Jamaica grows. It is a fact of life. On any measure, it is only when the Labour, and that is why the fourth term is sure. And I have no doubt by the end of the third term, the people over there will see that not only are we deserving of the fourth term, that the first world country could come in the fourth term. So labor rights, we have to do the work. We're not quarrel. We're just going to do the work, make sure Era Council 1 get more than 9 seats, 10 or 11, and we take back Kingston and St. Andrew so we can manage Kingston and St. Andrew properly. So labor rights, it has been a great evening. And I ask every one of you, remember, when you go out there, spread the positive message. Good things are happening in the country. Truth matters. And let it be known. Let your neighbors, everyone know. The Labour Party works for the common people, all of Jamaica. Thank you, Labour Rights.
Justice matter. The Jamaica Labour Party there positioning itself for the fourth term. The Justice Minister is saying that the party is going to do the work. The Justice Minister is saying that it is the best justice ministry. Crime is down. They're going to be building courthouses all across Jamaica. There is a mediation bill coming where the Ministry of Justice will be spending money to train pastors and teachers and JPs into mediation. Truth matters, public meeting, JLP. Let's go back in. The Minister of Local Government is speaking. Desmond McKenzie.
Message of the government to the people so that the people understand the work of the government. We have a responsibility as ministers and as members of parliament, councillors, to give an account to the people who place their trust in us. But if we allow those who have been rejected more than once, despite all the mischief, and they're still using the same format, if we allow them, then Jamaica will suffer. Our next stop in this series.
Oh, it's a series.
Truth matters. We're going to mash down the lies. Our next stop will be Central Kingston in the month of August.
Uh-oh.
But before I close the meeting, as the minister with responsibility for disaster, I want to say to all of us as Jamaicans, you notice how hot the time is?
Yes.
We are going into the second month of the hurricane season. And right now we are experiencing drought conditions across sections of the country. In some parishes where rain was scarce, they are having more rains fall than ever before. I want to urge the country, I want to urge our supporters. If you ask me what lesson I have learned from Melissa, one lesson Melissa taught me, that there can be something greater than Melissa. And let us not continue to say we are a God-blessed country and that nothing now go happen. And I am proud of the approach that we took as a government last year when Melissa was coming to the country. the various press conferences that we had, the various advisory that was put out. I want to say to my fellow Jamaicans, to my constituents and to all of us here, climate change is real. It's no longer something that we can dismiss. You know, when I went to Westmoreland for the launch of the cleanup, the pastor who prayed, and when she was praying, she said, Mr. Desmond, let me tell you something. Me not talk, make you hear, but me go talk. The people them down here say, are you and one man named Mr. Andrew shoot something in the sky? And that is what happened down at Westmoreland. She said it loud. I can only urge you to be cautious. Do what is necessary. Because as a country, and I want to tell you tonight, we are in a zone, we are prone to natural disasters. We sit on a fault line, earthquake fault line. Look what happened to Venezuela. We are on the same fault line like Venezuela. We are prone to flooding. So while we are happy and we give God thanks, our realities are real. And when we get forums like these, it's not just to talk about shower and to ring bells. It's to raise these issues so you understand that as your elected representative, as a government, we care. And we're not going to come here and fool you and tell you any Nancy story. When you're going to St. Elizabeth, you see the problems. When you're going to Westmoreland, you see it. I am going to Trelawney
for Orations Children. The feedback
to visit the location where we are putting down the new infirmary because the old one was destroyed by Melissa. As a country, we must have an appreciation for disaster because we are a disaster-prone country.
Asking everyone to repost the live
And I want to
please.
thank you all for coming out. This meeting was only planned last week. And we took the decision to have it. And I want to thank those online who have been with us since 6 o'clock. I want to thank Nationwide Radio and all the other platforms. And I want to thank the constituents of Northwest St. Andrew. Ably led by Member of Parliament and his councillors. And to say to Era Council 1, let's get active. We have a job of work to do. We lost the deputy mayor position 2020. We need to get back in front. The time has come when as a party, the country understands the country is not going to turn its back on Andrew Holness because the people have seen the goodness of this young man. And all the lies and the mischief, that is why the truth matters. Mash down that lie. We close with the playing of the party's anthem.
Equal rights and justice is our everlasting song. Unity and progress will make our nation strong. Stand up for your rights when you hear the bell. Stand up for justice, hear the freedom bell. Remember us the mandate, we serve you well. Stand up, Jamaicans, when you hear the bell.
Good night. God bless you and go home safe.
We're on a mission to lift up our communities. Jamaica Labour Party building shared prosperity. No, he never said that it would happen overnight. Still we laid the foundation to make the future right. We played our hearts.
All right, so that was a live broadcast from Era Council 1, the Jamaica Labour Party Truth Matters public meeting. Among the speakers were Dwayne Smith, the Minister of Local Government, Desmond McKenzie, Minister of Justice, Constitutional Affairs, Delroy Chuck, the Minister of Finance, Favour Williams, the State Minister in the Ministry of Industry and Commerce, Delano Seavright. The Jamaica Labour Party is suggesting that truth matters, and the party is suggesting that they're going to be doing a series of meetings. The next one, the party is saying, will be in central Kingston. It is a recognition, according to the party, that this information is affecting the body politics, and the party is positioning itself to win a fourth consecutive term in office. The party is almost saying that they are getting up off the benches, they are taking off their gloves, and they are going to be engaging with the people on the ground. And therefore, the party, under its new chairman, Member of Parliament Dwayne Smith, has launched this Truth Matters series, and it is expected that the series will go across Jamaica over the next couple of months as the party gears up for its annual conference in November. Now, the Truth Matters series comes about at a time when Jamaica is struggling with what to believe in terms of information. The media in Jamaica seem to be pro-PNP. We see many articles coming out of the Gleaner, for example, that clearly is geared or skewed towards that of the opposition People's National Party. We see what is happening in the Parliament, with the Speaker of the House being undermined, disrespected. Yes, there have been protests and walkouts and all types of things happening. There was a protest a couple of weeks ago in Crossroads, led by the so-called civic society groups. And I think the party has recognized that it needs a strategy. Whether this strategy will work, I am not so sure, but at least the party is now on the ground. And as I have always said, that governing is not only sufficient, governing is not sufficient. You have to politic, because you can be so locked in to governing that you are beginning to lose the next election. And you win the next election after you win the election. Campaigning for the next election starts the morning after. You don't get a honeymoon in government, because 5 years is the snap of a finger. Already we have gone almost a year in this term, and by year 3 you can gear up for the general election, and of course in between that there is going to be a local election. Clearly the party has read the tea leaves of the ground, and there is no question that there is disquiet in the nation, there is disquiet in the country. A lot of negative coverage online. The speakers constantly mention TikTok and bloggers, which means that the bloggers are having an impact on misinformation and disinformation. I would encourage the party to bring its bloggers together and coordinate them across the day and the night, because there is no question that social media is now the powerhouse as far as media is concerned. I noticed that the party had this broadcast live on Nationwide 90 FM. No doubt that was an infomercial, and Nationwide is a traditional media. I wonder whether or not the party thought that it could officially broadcast this along with some of its social media partners. Just asking. If it has not, then it again underlines the point that we have been making here, that the party must begin to pay more attention to its social media spaces and recognize its bloggers online. Okay, we are almost at 9 o'clock, and we haven't even started to talk to you about some of the things we wanted to talk to you about. And of course, we have to leave you at just around 10 o'clock. Talk your mind. Thursdays. Today, the Honorable Juliet Holness celebrates a birthday. Happy birthday, First Lady Holness. Happy birthday to you, Mrs. Juliet Holness. The Honorable Juliet Holness celebrates her birthday, and so it is appropriate to reflect not only on the occasion itself, but also on the office she occupies and the manner in which she has carried its weight. I wanted to talk to you a little bit about Mrs. Holness tonight, but let's go to our callers. It's Talk Your Mind Thursday, and see what is on their mind. Good night, caller. Good night, caller.
Good night. How you doing?
I'm fine. Go ahead.
Yeah. Another thing I want to talk about. PMP did have the country for 18 years.
Yes.
And them lose it. And at the end of the day, now it's like they are creating a lot of mischief in the country.
What type of mischief? What type of mischief they could create?
Wrong information, man. Wrong information, to create some farmer divide, some farmer, them propaganda machinery. They have way of go around the country and marinate them propaganda machinery.
Yes.
Don't think the people know what they're doing. They will know what they're doing. But true labor right and the whole, we are peaceful people and we're more quiet. But we are a great listener. We don't make a lot of noise, but we listen a lot.
Yes.
So we get to understand the PMP them right now, because they have a thing they call propaganda machine and the PMP playbook. So they are rolling out the playbook now. But what to say to the Labour Party, we just have to keep strong and keep being a great listener man. And then we have to keep spreading the truth like what we do. We try to spread the truth, tell the truth. Because Labour is a truthful party. And I know that for a fact, so we are a great listener. My mother was telling me a couple years ago that in a few time, as a Labour right, just say something about him party, if you actually go underneath him bed, but talking, could have said in the public, PMP, them have a way of intimidate you. And if when you had meeting, at the right meeting, and your way home, you would receive a stone in your way. You know, it's a way of intimidate you, and even people home was destroyed when they reach back home from the meeting. So there is a history about the PMP, and me were born in the 70s, we witness as a young man, witness it. I come to the conclusion that the worst thing for Jamaica is the PNP, in my own view.
The worst thing for Jamaica is the PNP, sir?
Is the PNP.
Why you say that?
I think I have enough evidence, because if my mother did have to hide and I'm bed, we talk about in one party, could have talked to the public about in the Labour Party, what that was saying. What that was saying. He might whisper when if you talk about the party, might whisper.
Oh.
When you want to wear a shirt of the party support, I'm afraid you get the shirt and couldn't wear it. If you wear it, it be marked. It would be a marked person.
What you say to me?
But the PNP, them would have can't wear for them. Your man are not inside at the same time, and that a Labour couldn't wear them shirt.
Couldn't wear a green shirt, sir, in a Jamaica? You couldn't wear a green shirt?
Yes, you couldn't wear it.
Say that again. You couldn't wear a green shirt?
Couldn't wear it.
What do you mean you couldn't wear a green shirt? What do you mean?
You've been intimidated when the election is near and you get a shirt to wear, you can't wear. You've been intimidated by the DP. They have them so said that go around and intimidate you.
Is what you're saying to me?
Yeah, man, I'm serious.
Huh?
Yeah, man.
Your mother is alive, sir?
Yeah, man, is still alive.
And she said she couldn't wear her, she have to go on her bed?
To talk about him own party, the Labour Party that him supporting at the time, he might actually go on her bed, he might whisper, couldn't talk in the public like how we can go there and talk about the party ball, you know, no fear. She did have fear.
That's what you're saying to me, sir.
Yeah, man, serious something. More people could speak after.
Oh boy, wow, we have come from far.
Because him tell me that the PNP have a playbook. When they're ready to play that book, they play it well. They might think that PNP them don't know them, but they well know what they're doing.
They have a playbook, sir?
Yeah, man, the PNP playbook, like what they were playing earlier.
What were they playing? Hold up, what were they playing the other day?
With the whole demonstration, the process is a
But it wasn't the PNP. Hold on, sir. It wasn't the PNP that was having that demonstration.
Them involved, you might surprised to know.
You mean the demonstration in Crossroad?
Yeah, you might surprised to know.
Was a PNP demonstration, sir?
They're very unique. The PNP know what they're doing. They're very unique.
What you say to me?
They're very unique, man.
PNP. So hold on. So what we were led to believe to be a civic society protest was a PNP meeting.
Put it this way. Put it this way. You have a thing behind the scene. You know, you have a thing behind the scene, man. The PNP, them know what they do because they need the country. They want to get back the country.
Oh, Lord. You think that the Labour Party is on course to win a fourth term? Eh?
Of course, because Andrew, the most honorable Andrew Wallace, is one of the best for the past 50 years for Jamaica.
What are you saying to me?
That way, what Siaga can walk in Andrew shoes.
What you said to me?
Not even Edward Siaga.
That good?
Can walk in Andrew. Believe me. Mr. Wallace born with the right mindset. This is the type of mindset Jamaica need for a long time. That's why you see I want to congratulate the late Mochi Perkins, because Mochi were talking long time ago that Jamaica need a young man to lead Jamaica. And Andrew, he was the one to come to do that.
Well, sir, it's Talk Your Mind Thursday, and I only have another little time left. But I'm going to have to leave you there, so take care of yourself.
Yeah, man.
Come again, Talk Your Mind Thursday, the night when we take our calls and hear what they have to say. But we can't give you more than about 5 minutes each here. I just got a press release from the government of Jamaica. The government of Jamaica acknowledges the concerns expressed by motorists regarding the recently announced toll rate adjustment and wishes to provide important context on how these increases are determined. Now, if you are in Kingston and you want to go to Old Harbour and you drive a Honda Fit, $800 you have to pay. If you're going to Mandeville, you pay $790 if you go through Old Harbour. And then when you get down to Maypen, you have to pay another $270. Producer, calculate it for me. $790 plus $270. And then when you get down to the one we go down to Williamsfield, you have to pay another $480. How much is that?
$1,460.
So if you're there town and you want to go to Mandeville and you want to drive on the toll, you have to pay $1,460. Times 2, producer, how much is that? Times 2. 1,460 times 2. That are how much? All right. All right. That's 2,920. Now, let's say you work down Mandeville, times that by 5. So your toll is $14,600 a week, And what the government is saying is that we're locked into this for 30 years because of the PNP. Huh? So the PNP pain is carrying us to grave. Everywhere we turn back a joke with because of the PNP. I saw the PNP govern the country, man. What a disgrace. One of these evenings, I'm going to tell you about the bauxite levy. The bauxite levy. And some of you young people running up on the mouth and talking about time come. You don't have a clue. Time come. One of the worst scandal upon this land is a thing called the bauxite levy. And as you drive across Jamaica and you see these huge craters in our country, think about it. I don't have the time to get into it, but it's a scandal. It is a scandal of monumental proportion. It is an injustice to the people of Jamaica. If you ever learn about the bauxite levy and how it was, what its intention was, and how it was mismanaged, and here we are today hearing that the people of Jamaica will have to hug up more toll because the PNP locked us into this for more than 30 years. Transport Minister Vaz says he has taken note of public concerns regarding toll rates. Minister Vaz says once again this development concerning the toll rate is yet another example of the former PNP administration entering into a less than favorable deal which does not yield any tangible advantages to the people of Jamaica. So every time you drive through the toll, PNP joke you. Every time you drive up at a toll in Jamaica, PNP joke you. Huh? What is unfortunate, says Minister Vaz, is that the agreement they entered into binds the current government to the unhelpful terms contained in the agreement. The government of the Jamaica Labour Party is bound to that. This is not dissimilar to the situation Jamaicans have faced concerning the JPS license, which was negotiated by the former PNP administration and has burdened our people. For the Highway 2000 East-West Corridor, the concession agreement was signed in November 2001 for 35 years. Similar, the concession agreement for the North-South Highway Caymanas to Ocho was executed in June 12 under a 50-year Bill Finance Operate Transfer Agreement. Boy, Jamaicans, maybe we need to stop drive on them and make them see what go happen. Make we just stop drive on the highway them for one 2 weeks, no? And make them see if they have to put down the toll rate them down. I wonder if we could just come together as a country and say, you know what? I'll drive on toll for next 2 months. Who are we? Yeah, man, it go hard, you know, and the traffic go rough, but how we going to get them to move? The only way to do this is to boycott it. Jamaicans, make we come together and boycott the striking toll. Get up early out of your bed and you have to stand up for something or you're going to fall for anything. Because you're going to tell me that for 50 years, a country is to be locked into an agreement and can't do nothing about it? How comes? Huh? 50 years? So all when someone we dead and gone. You know, I wanted to talk to you, you see, tonight about Mark Golding Mark Jefferson Golding. I have my callers online and I know that the callers are waiting. Mark missed the mark. Mark missed the mark. And I don't think there is any comeback for Mr. Golding. There is no comeback for you, Mr. Mark. You have missed the mark. And you see all of this that is coming out? You know, they say lie have an expiry date. Lies have an expiry date. You can't lie your way through life, you know. Lies have an expiry date. I want to say I want to love the poor. Let's go to the callers. Althea? My God, I need more time. Althea? Not there. Termaine? Talk Your Mind Thursdays. Hello? Termaine? Not there. Talk Your Mind Thursdays, Mr. Dobney.
Neighbor, what an awesome day we have today.
Yes, sir.
Awesome day. Our First Lady celebrated her first day, her birthday today. I want to pick her up and to say happy birthday to her. What is significant to me, however, is the move by Era. So the move by Era Council 1 to launch its first move across the island, Truth Matters. That is significant, neighbor. Truth matters. That is significant. And
let me ask you something though. Let me ask you, hold on, Mr. Dobney. If the party recognizes that truth matters and it is going to shift its strategy into this series, I noticed that a lot of the speakers were focused on social media. Why would the party not involve its you know what? Maybe you can't answer this question. Let me not cause no problem on this.
Absolutely.
You understand?
Yes, yes, I'm not able to answer, but I do believe that as we evolve in the media space, the party, I do believe, will find that the social media platforms.
But if you are recognizing that the challenge is on social media, why would you in launching this not engage them? Those seems to be a
That might very well. I consider, neighbor, let me say this. I think there's an initial stage in everything, because we have up to 2030 to go, and I believe that there has to be.
I tell you this, Mr. Dobney. I tell you this. I don't know that we have up to 2030 to go, because you are a politician and you know that governments can lose election in their first year, never to recover.
Absolutely. And you're right, neighbor. But I will say, as it is a start in the right direction, and that's the approach that I want to take. It's a start in the right direction.
I agree with that. Truth matters.
Say that again?
Yeah, I said I agree with you.
Yeah, the theme is excellent. And if it resonates as how the whole issue of Choose Jamaica matters, Choose Jamaica, then Truth Matters, I think will become a buzzword as we evolve across the 4 era councils. In disseminating the information that people needs to know. We cannot also allow the PNP's narratives to control our activities. So, but what it will do is ramp up our PR mechanism to ensure that we become mindful that there are much misinformation that is in the public space that needs to be debunked. And when you can have an energized gathering of this nature, truth matters as a buzzword, I do believe Jamaica will start to take note. It is a campaign of sort, but it is indeed what you call a PR moment for the party.
Yes.
The party as it relates to disseminating the truth across ministries and across area councils to ensure, and I'm sure that the social media platforms are tapping into this, because we must ensure that we debunk the lies of the People's National Party, because that's their mission. And to have an effective campaign about truth and disseminating the activities, the actions, the performances of government is an excellent step in the right direction.
Yes.
What must happen though? We need to see an expansion of it, so that once it is expanded, the truth expressed by the party and civil Jamaica debunks the initiatives and the objectives of the People's National Party, because they are about misinformation. The government is telling you this is what we are doing. This is what we have done. And this is what we will be doing. And the more the conversation takes place from a party perspective, the more I believe Mark Golding and his team may very well have to define another strategy. Let me also highlight something, neighbor, quickly. Is the fact that Jamaica has grown. I am a product of the 60s. I remember when you couldn't wear a green shirt, they cut you out of it because Jamaica was considered PMP country.
Is that so?
We have truly grown, neighbor. We have truly grown. And what also, to complement that, we have a more effective policing system that we can depend on. And because of these transformation that has taken place across our structures of government, and indeed people becoming more aware and are very skeptical of those who are so polarized that they are willing to say to you, we are doing at a green shirt. That is the thing of the past. I wear my green shirt with pride, purposefully, and I speak the whole issue of the success story of the Jamaican administration in a very buoyant and very proud way. We have truly grown, neighbor. What we must ensure is that the younger generation, our young people, understands where we are coming from. And we're not going back there. Understanding where we are, and understanding that under the leadership of a Jamaica Labour Party that has a track record where we are going. And that is what the conversation must now be around.
Yeah.
History is history.
Thank you, sir. Hold on there a little for me, brother, my brother Dabney. Member Harry, hi.
Good evening, neighbor.
Yeah, member Harry, the party Area Council 1 is taking the lead with a Truth Matter campaign. They said they are going into Central Kingston next. What do you make of it?
I think it's an initiative, neighbor, that will definitely shine some light on critical matters, specifically things surrounding what has the government done thus far. I mean, we normally have a first 100-day achievement thing for every and any government, right? We didn't necessarily get to do that in this term because, Melissa and everything. But I think it will shine light on a lot of the misinformation, the disinformation, and propagandas outright that has been spreading across the media, that has infiltrated the mindset and the psyche of Jamaicans, both locally and overseas. And I think it's something at the heart of it is to set the record straight in layman's terms, because while it may seem a little too late for some things, I think they can claw back their way with this series if done well and if done right. You know, target specific demography, because I truly don't expect that, you know, when they go on the grounds, they're just speaking to specific people. You want to ensure that this information is disseminated and distributed in a manner where it has a great impact in terms of educating all persons from all walks of life, because that is a key part of this. You want even Master John and Master Tam up in a mucko. For when him do come from up in the hills or from him farm and a pass through and him hear some information, it is as clear as day to him, so he can be in the know. Because while truth matters, comprehension is key to what is being said. Because you can be saying the truth and all of that in a neighbor, but it doesn't reach to the level of the people.
You are saying to me that truth matters.
Of course, neighbor, it definitely does.
My good God Almighty, you know, sir, you have a way to say things. You are saying that in Jamaica, truth don't really matter.
No, neighbor, the thing about it, you know, they're already behind the A-bar.
Yes, very good.
The emotions of the people.
Yes.
And the truth is never emotional, right? And
because I tell you the truth. Truth though, it is the court that had to get Dayton Campbell to accept the truth, that truth matters.
Exactly.
You think for Andre Stevens and Pelucid Perry, truth matters? We had Mr. Perry on this program, and we pointed out to him that he was misleading the country, and he has not removed the false post that he has placed up there. Truth matters to the Gleaner.
It to them, neighbor, it is business as usual. It
Yeah.
is what I can do to either have a level of influence, get my 15 minutes worth of fame,
Yes,
and put money in my pocket when it comes down to the media houses. Now, the truth about that.
the truth of the matter. The truth of the matter. Yes.
As I put, neighbor, the truth of the matter is that while for people like ourselves will know it and will put out the information,
Yes.
the ones who have been caught in an emotional roller coaster and on an emotional conveyor belt of recycling these emotions every single time you hear the word Andrew Holness, every time you hear IC, every time you hear bank accounts, every time you hear Melissa,
Yes.
relief fund, this is a conveyor belt of emotions that keeps going around in a neighbor.
Yes.
And while you may attach the truth to that conveyor belt, if those on it don't understand, have the comprehension part of what you're communicating, then you cannot de-escalate the emotional trauma, because really and truly that's what it is. If you can de-escalate that and remove it from the minds of the people and let them start to understand now and have the conviction in themselves, not to be convicted by you who's speaking. You're just laying out the foundation and laying down the truth and the fact that is there. But they have to be convicted, and only through comprehension they can form that conviction for themselves.
Very good.
So when you go and meeting underground neighbor, and you're back to the grassroots, you better make sure so the grassroots people will have these conversations every day, know it,
Very good.
understand it, and can communicate it to everybody.
Very good.
Because when you leave that night,
Yes.
after that town hall or whatever it is, you've done your job. But you have left it up now to those who you have imparted
Yes.
that emotion and the truth on to finish the job.
Very good. Very
And
good.
if you can't convict them, neighbor, it really, it wouldn't matter.
Very good. I think though, Member Harry, that the party ought to be commended for a response. And although the response need a little bit more thinking through, because communication, especially in Jamaica, continues to be something that is philosophically difficult because of the various demographic groups. But the party, you would have to say, has recognized that there is a problem and is prepared to deal with it. Eh?
Definitely. And one of the things I want to give them the heads up on, Delroy Chuck and those persons are outgoing. Understand the people who needs to know this information. It's not the generation that has, pardon me, neighbor, with all due respect, that has a few years under their belt remaining. They're the ones who need this type of information.
Yes.
It is those who have not, the finance minister spoke of the 20-year-olds. They are the ones who don't know what happened in the 90s. They're the ones who don't know these information about what we did with Backside, the JPS deal, all of that. They are the ones you will depend on to get you across the line.
Let me ask you something, member Harry. How do we link these things? So look for example at the minister saying today that the toll rates, that Jamaicans are locked into that by a government previous. Because you and I know, you're a driver and I'm sure you use a toll. And so every time that a commuter or a driver drives up to the toll and have to pay and continues to pay increased cost, that commuter, Harry, sees the government and blame the government. Isn't that so?
Yeah, any government that is in power is the one that will get the blame for it, neighbor. Right?
But why have it taken us so long to even begin to start this debate, to lay the blame at the feet of the previous administration?
Well, let me put it this way, neighbor. Because of what would have happened in the last decade of a lot of blames being thrown out, placing the responsibility of resuscitating Jamaica from the deathbed. And they have turned a lot of people, in terms of psychologically, against the current government. Anything that is inconvenience to the people of today, they will blame the government.
Yes.
We've had a culture that was developed. Because remember, the handout government and so on of the past showed that it was the government through member parliaments or the politician, if I want to put it that way, guaranteed survival and thrive. So now, as we slowly come out of that culture, you still have people who cling to it, especially those who can't get the handout again. So now them restless and they are, on the verge of doing every and anything they can to wrestle back those times. So they can be the people who will power. What that has done now, neighbor, is that they are the loudest when it comes on to the echoes. They're the ones who run the click lies and talk a lot of crap. But that is what people are seeing regularly because of algorithms. And we want to understand that algorithm in this day and age is what helps shapes the thought process of every Jamaican. Right?
Yes.
And then what that does now in our neighbor, anything that makes somebody else's life a little harder, them are going to blame the government. So, the government not do this and the government not do that. In fact, this government is being blamed for the JPS deal in its entirety.
Let me ask you a question, member, and you're going to have to dig a little deep. President Trump brought the birthright issue to the Supreme Court in the United States. How can a country be sovereign and the government is locked into a deal that it can't come out of for 50 years? That not sound like something that should not be challenged based on our constitution. I mean, I know that governments are continuum, but what if it's a bad deal for the people of Jamaica? Are you saying the government cannot challenge it in the courts and get a judicial review on something like this?
Well, put it this way, neighbor. A lot of these deals, and I can draw on the reference of the JPS one, have so many moving parts. I would have said several months ago regarding the manufacturing sector. that committee of people who came together to try and negotiate it and to find whether loopholes or some bylaws or whatever it is in the contractual agreement with JPS. And every time they found something, it was a moving goalpost. These agreements were airtight in a way where not for government can't be able to renegotiate, but how you exit, what is the cost you're willing to pay. So for example, now, if we are to try and renegotiate this deal with the highways, let's say the north-south, what is the opportunity cost for us to do so now rather than wait it out? Because this can be political suicide.
But we can't wait it out with great respect, Member Harry. By time 50 year come, me not there.
No, but here's the thing, neighbor. You can wait it out in a way where you have now bought into where the government advanced the country to a level of growth that you can now see paying this increase in toll as quote-unquote minuscule. For many persons, it may not. But what will happen, neighbor, is that to find how you exit from it may put the government even more in a pickle, because remember, this government has to do what is in the best interest of its people, and that will take some time to find the full agreement as to what.
But sir, why was the people of Jamaica not brought into this arrangement? We here we are, totally ignorant to the fact that our government locked us into something for 50 years that will be bleeding money from our pockets. The tolls are not cheap in Jamaica, Harry.
They definitely aren't, neighbor. In fact, I believe the Trans-Jamaica one is hedged against the US dollar as well. And remember, some of these agreements in it or clauses in it, neighbor, is that the surrounding roads cannot be improved in a manner that it challenges these tolls.
So what again? Hold on. So what? So they can't be improved in a manner that they challenge the toll. So they have to be kept in a less condition.
So in essence, they can't be primary roads. They can be secondary. These are some of the clauses that are in these agreements in a neighbor, right? And I'm glad Hoskins put it in the chat as well for those who are reading. The financial cost to exit a lot of these deals may set us back to an era that we don't want to. So it's almost like, based on the agreement, the previous government has locked us in deciding, do we want to maintain the perception of sovereignty, or do we want to buy back the freedom and potentially end up in I don't even want to say Haiti, but utilizing Haiti as an example, it was a hefty cost to pay. But it simply means it can reverse the gains we've had in the last decade or so.
Yeah. Don't you think it is poor government, Harry, that the people of Jamaica, in terms of, consultancy, consulting with the people, get the people to understand what you are signing on their behalf. You don't think it is rather poor that a government operated like that? And I'm not saying that governments are necessary to negotiate in public, but if this is something that is going to be costing the people of Jamaica for generations, then the people of Jamaica ought to know what they're signing up to.
Well, you see the thing about it, neighbor, they sold these highway in terms of the idea of it as something great. We're getting new pretty road, as them said.
And I'm sure it won them maybe 1 or 2 elections.
It has.
And I'll never forget Mark Wignall. I'll never forget Mark Wignall, sir. When it was coming up to the election before 2027, when they opened the highway over from Maypen to Old Harbor, talking about the bright lights what they call them, bright lights on the highway.
Yeah.
Yes, and bigging up PJ Patterson and suggesting that when the people drive on it, how them are gonna feel nice and vote for the PNP. And look at what we are now facing scratches. So Harry, so when the roads were made, people were sold a lie.
They were, a neighbor. Because I can give you an example of it, and I wish I could find back that article. I believe it was Cliff Hughes who wrote it at the time, and that's how I found out. So for the North-South Highway where it ran, where they had a little issue close to Mount Rossa with a specific rock, where had they blasted that rock or removed it, neighbor, it would have caused another flood, because that rock separated a waterway from where they were going. That was one of the major issues. And there are several springs in that region. And Pickersgill neighbor signed off to allow them to blast specific areas. Remember, Jamaica fall on a limestone area, and they blasted it, and these springs were never to be found again. These springs, however, in a neighbor, ensured that communities, whenever they pan NWC, no have to try get pan NWC, because it ran farms, it ran businesses, it supported the livelihood of many communities. And that changed. And nobody knew about it. I accidentally find it in the Sunday Gleaner, because my father used to buy it heavily. And I used to read it with him. Right? And that's how I knew he signed off on it. Majority of those whose lives were affected, probably 99.9%, still don't even know why they don't have water running as it was before.
Oh God.
Right? So these are the things. But what they did run into, neighbor, is toll a cut through the area. All right, land price appreciate.
But even me, Harry, even me, when I saw the toll road, it would make you get excited. But guess what? The people of Jamaica, it's a hoodwink, it's a Houdini type of something, this man.
It is. And then the short-term job creation, something like this, does your neighbor, gives you the short-term feeling of, man, nice, because man can go party now, man have money in their pocket. But at the end of the day, the cost you've now paid, right, what you've earned cannot last. And so the trade-off that you didn't see because of the nice feeling, you're now facing it. That is what the previous government has put Jamaica in. Because it is good to have nice, pretty roads. But because Jamaicans didn't really care what the cost is, because they weren't looked to be edified in what is the deal that they're getting put in. Because truly, no neighbor, a lot of these things happen because Jamaicans were ignorant. And we're still ignorant to a level, because that level of transparency was never there in the past.
Yes, sir.
So it is no coincidence to hear everything the government currently doing, right? It's not like they're hiding anything or whatever. But the first few words I hear nowadays: transparency, accountability, integrity. Every single thing that utters out of a Jamaican mouth regarding anything the government does, no. And I'm speaking to the civic groups, or whatever they want to call themselves as, the politically affiliated groups that hide behind the banner. They didn't challenge these things because they were also benefiting from it, neighbor. And as such, their duty, they failed Jamaica. They failed their fellow brethren who they claim to have been there to protect and to inform. They failed them in this manner because they've also contributed to them being ignorant as to the very things that would have changed the landscape of their lives forever. And that's not something anybody from a civic group can come and challenge me on. I come prepared for them to do so any single night. They failed Jamaica.
Yes. Let me ask you, Harry. What is it that we can do? We just gonna have to hug up these increases, batter on the other old roads. Why is it that as a country we could not begin a conversation? I'm not talking about government here. I'm talking about the society, to begin a conversation that puts pressure on the toll authorities to either you adjust the contract, or we don't drive there, or we lessen what we do over there. And guess what? And maybe if we do that, it is in the contract that the government may have to pick up that cost.
No, it is. Any cost is there is going to fall back on the people, because I don't even want to say the government, because for the government to pay it, the people will have to be the burden of it, or the bearer of it, sorry, right? But I don't believe there's nothing that states in it where we can't have a conversation regarding the investors of that time, right? We can find something where we start the conversation now, even if the current set of members or administrators of this government does not see it out If we can initiate a conversation, because I doubt it that these people will not listen or will shut it down outright. But if we can come together to start a conversation around it, and then the government acts on our behalf, of course, to see how they can deliberate about it. Similar to what is being done with JPS. I mean, we had to hold JPS kind of in a hostage situation here because of the contractual renewal. But in this case, because it's so young, we must can go to the table to whether we renegotiate the terms and conditions, or we go ahead to see what are the exit routes that they may provide for us, right? So these are the things we can look into to see how we can start it, because you have to start somewhere, you know. And I believe with what we're doing in terms of development, right, we can start it, because one of the things just right off the top of my head, with a lot of projects coming on board, we might be able to, and again, this is also not necessarily from the best of informed position, because I don't know government contracts and the deals that will run through NARA. But if it's a possibility where you have a project neighbor from the current North-South Highway owners, they want to do a certain project, if we can offset a cost of the toll on that project, that is a starter. Because it simply means we'll still have the development, but we won't have that heavy financial cost, which may in turn cut down the years to pay. Because I doubt we can renegotiate hedging against the US dollars. I think that one is locked airtight, right? And the guaranteed profits. But something like this, I think we can start a conversation somewhere there. Any government person listening who is close to the deals is something to consider and flesh it out to see how you can do it. Because Jamaica is on a trajectory of extreme development. And if you can do these things, because the best way to handle an investor and a neighbor is to give him a similar opportunity at a lower risk, but also beneficial to you.
Well, fantastic. What a great response from the member. Listeners, boy, I tell you something, you get it all here, you know, all here on the Hello Neighbor Show. The best in Jamaica. You don't get these type of conversations anywhere else on media, anywhere in Jamaica. You get it right here on the Hello Neighbor Show, Politics Plus Network, with your neighbor on Caroline. Honey B, you've been waiting a long time. Good evening to you.
Good evening, neighbor.
Good evening to you.
Neighbor, you know, you see the first thing as the toll raise, people start to cry out, because that's what they're going to do. They're going to cry out to the government.
Uh-huh.
But a lot of these people don't know the agreement that was signed at the time of the toll.
Uh-huh.
And some of them don't want to know. Because if you have a conversation with somebody tomorrow, neighbor, they will say, then when the government can't do nothing.
Yes.
Because those people don't understand contract. And in order to come out of a contract, you have to pay a penalty. And the penalty can be so huge, it makes no sense to do that without putting the country back in debt.
Boy, ma'am, the tolls are getting to a point where now they're becoming quite burdensome. Believe me.
It is.
I mean, mama, you're going to Ocherius and you drive a little car is $2,000. So just to go to Ochi and come back will cost you $4,000, more $4,000. If you're driving an SUV like member Harry, it's almost 4,000. That means that your toll is almost $8,000. That's a lot of money, man.
Neighbor, when my sister was living in Jamaica, she lived in Longville. She worked in Kingston. When she come to Kingston on a Monday morning, she don't go back home until Friday, because that toll every day, 2 and 4, was becoming too much for her. And it was not even at this price. So you can imagine now.
Yeah, imagine those people living in Portmore. By the way, hold on there. Mr. Dobney? Sorry there, Honeybee. I'm coming back to you. Dobney? Mr. Dobney's mic is muted. I don't know, he's not hearing me. I wanted to...
but my Mr. Dubney gonna get a drink, you know. Remember, it's Thursday, you know, and his thing is on a Thursday.
Yes. No, I wanted to ask him because in the last election he had said,
Yes.
Mr. Dobney, you remember there were some discussions in the last election surrounding the toll.
No, I'm here.
Hold on. Hello?
So, I'm right here. You hearing me, neighbor?
Yes, sir. Are you hearing me? Oh boy. I don't even understand why the internet in Jamaica can't even pull up sometime. Just one little country like this and we cannot cover it with the internet, man. Hello, sir.
Yes, neighbor. Yes, you hearing me, neighbor?
I'm hearing you now,
Hello?
Yes.
Yes. You know, yeah, neighbor, there is...
I wanted to ask you, Mr. Dobney, about Portmore itself. You had raised some prospects in the last election about the toll. What happened to that?
Well, neighbor, what I purport,
Not hearing him at all.
This leg in the toll construct. And I was suggesting that once you live in Portmore, you pay a toll to leave, but you don't pay to come back. So the population of Portmore would enjoy what you call a one-way toll, which is something that I was suggesting. But that again, the issue with that, neighbor, is the details of the contract that has been signed, and that is one of the things that
then no research was done. Okay, no research was done into that before the proposal was made, or not sufficient.
No, what we know is that the toll has certain restrictions within context, and that year there has to be an increase, and so there's always a dread. Especially when school is to be reopened, the escalation of the toll was always something that everyone considers that is going to be a problem. And I am sure the administration of the day is mindful that that toll situation can have political implications. So it is something that we have to look in detail as how can we relieve the consistent increases over time to a point where it's going to reach a point where it's going to be your traveling expense is going to escalate beyond your ability to manage. So, you know, I remember when the toll was being implemented, I was part of that resistance, and I even tried driving the long way around. But the question is, when you have an issue of movement within the context of time, the toll is the option.
I remember that too, Mr. Dobney, and I can tell you if that toll is necessary, the toll roads are necessary, because can you imagine if the toll closed tomorrow, what coming out of Portmore would be like, sir?
It would be a nightmare, neighbor. I remember the time when you know, neighbor, it is just a simple nightmare. So the expansion of the road, giving us a toll road, not a toll road, but a road, it was a significant, what you call, relief to the populace of Portmore. But what you realize now, there is still a situation where once you come out through the toll, there's a bottleneck on Marcus Garvey Drive. Yes,
that is true.
The Hagley Park Road expansion has not necessarily done much to relieve that because of the number of traffic coming through Portmore from other geographic locations outside of Portmore.
Yes, sir.
Using that.
May I make a plug in here, sir? Because I know the government is really, you know, Mr. Dobney, the development of Jamaica has really never happened under the PNP 18 and a half year. They never do good at all, you know, sir. And
that's indeed an established.
And that is kind of why there is so much now left to be done, because I think with the expansion of the economy, more people have car, more people moving into urban areas. Mr. Dobney, you don't want to be coming from Old Harbor in the mornings going into Kingston. The traffic can be like 5 miles, you know, sir. And if it can take you from Food for the Poor down to Innswood 2 hours any evening. 2 hours, sir.
Absolutely. And going into Old Harbor, all of that, neighbor, is indeed a nightmare. And as such, you know, looking at the cost of toll rates within context has to be a serious part of the government's agenda, because we have always been fixing things. And I do believe that the nature of this administration, Daryl Vaz, etc., I do believe that they are taking a serious look at it, because there has to be some address. The contract, the cost, the feelings of people, the waning sentiments, notwithstanding the fact that the toll rolls is essential. But if the cost becomes prohibitive, then that's a problem for government. And
yes,
so
and that problem falls on the current administration.
Absolutely. And so there's no wiggle room out of it, but because the contract is there. But as you would have said, neighbor, there has to be some legislative framework that allows the government to say, while the previous administration negotiated, and let us say, in the best interest of the situation at the time, let us look at that in that balanced way.
Yes.
But based on where we are today, to yesterday's agreements and contracts does not necessarily equate with our situation in the now.
Absolutely.
And so, like everything else, there has to be addendums to contracts, there has to be adjustments, there has to be a rewriting within context. You take out a loan, and by extension, the situation changes. You have to rewrite. And so we have to look at how we are going to look at the contract with a fine-tooth comb, and where there is an opportunity to change so that the cost to the commuters can be reduced. I think that's the way we need to go.
But in the meantime, though, Mr. Dobney, it appears as if the point that we need to make as a society is that government should not bind its people into these contracts without the people having knowledge of it.
And that is important. And so we have to ask ourselves the question, is due process being given to what you call governance as a going concern, a contract that evolves the timelines or the time frames of the current leaders or legislators? The fact is, you are sometimes putting the future of the next generation at risk by what you do now.
Right.
Because many of our legislators may not necessarily to see the contract expires. And so that is some of the things that we need to definitely neighbor as it relates to how we negotiate in the now. Yes, man, it might look rosy, but what are the situations that are to come? In other words, what are the forward planning that you put into those contracts? And that is maybe something that the previous administration, within the context of the PNP, they were never ever careful planners of what you would want to call governance as a going concern, and what are the long-term impact of these contracts. Look at the situation of mass movement on rail, using the railway system.
That is a good point, yes.
Because our economic situation would have changed. And as such, we can build another road that can come.
Well, you know, Mr. W.
And why can't we not find the resources to build another road if we can? But the question is, can we find it? You know? So sometimes we have to look at not necessarily what we can do in the now, but how we can renegotiate in the best interest of our people. Because let us all say this, neighbor. We will say that why the contract is binding. The contract holds us to a spirit of accountability that we don't breach our end as Jamaica. We're not talking about the administration. We do not breach our end of the contract as Jamaica because governance is a going concern.
Yes.
Whether the government do good or bad, the next government have to hug up, just like the JLP have to hug up every bad thing that the PNP does. So what we have to do now is the people are depending not on the PNP based on the flaws of the contracts. So we can't argue that the contract is such. We have to look and find a way. How can we relieve the burden of the toll on the backs of the motorists in the now? And that's what governance is for. How we create gratifying moments, relieve the pain points that the people are feeling, the high tolls, the high cost of maintenance. Yes, we're having better roads now, so the wear and tear of our vehicles is a little bit less. But how do we allow for the contracts based on its terms and terms now? How do we change those so that the people of this country can feel that the government is operating not so much in the strictures of the contract, but finding a way based on careful assessment, legal interpretations of what the contract says, and by extension, finding a way to wiggle out of some, add some, change some, and everybody, it's a win-win for everybody.
Fantastic. Honeybee, you can pick up back for me. Sorry to have cut you.
So, neighbor, I'm saying that you still will have people tomorrow, and then you have to also look out for the misinformation that is going to come out from the PNP bloggers, putting this solely at the ruling party or the ruling government feet.
Yes.
And say they are pressure poor people. And that's what they have to look at. So I'm saying, for me, Jamaican people is not going to read the contract. And sometimes if they read it, if it published and they read it, they may not understand it. But they have to explain to the Jamaican people the challenges that they're facing with the toll and what can or cannot be done at this time about it. And let them know that we are binding it, because the one that signed in 2001, we still have another 10 years to go on that one, neighbor.
Wow.
And then we have another one that signed in, I think it's 2012. Was it? I don't remember. Another one, the one for 50 years. They have a hell of a long way. My daughter that is now 19 will be almost 50 by the time we complete that arrangement. So it's going to be a generational situation where the people after us, the young people that are coming up, the 19, the 20s, you're going to have to deal with this for years to come. You understand? So the government, with this that they start today, it can't just be they are trying to counteract the misinformation that the PNP put out there already. They have to now get ahead on this toll situation to explain to the people. Because a lot of Jamaicans, the young ones that just, they're out of university and they get a stable job and they can buy a car, they are going to be the ones that are talking how hard it is. So you have to explain now to them what happened then and how it affects us now. And the government, after also, as Mr. Dabney said, go back through the contract and see if there's anything can be amended, anything can be done to give the people some sort of relief, because it is horrible, the prices that people is going to have to pay just to...
I'm hearing one of my listeners saying that even the train service, the government, that the tolls said that they can't have any train service near the toll road. My God.
Yes. I heard about that one. So you notice when this thing locked in, and remember Ira was just explaining to us about the status of the road. It can't be the major thoroughfare. It has to be like, so if you look going round to going through Sligoville and those places, and even going round by what they call the Gorge.
Yes.
It's not it takes longer. And when we are in the hurricane season now, if there's a heavy rainfall, you know the Gorge is impossible. So it's going to be such a hard pill to swallow at this time, especially just before back to school neighbor, when people have fees to pay for the children, they have a lot of costs coming up. It's really a difficult time to raise the toll. Well, we know the contract state that it has to be raised, but it's really a difficult time.
Well, the government is saying that it's contractual and that the previous administration locked us into it. What is it? Blame the PNP. Harry.
Yes, neighbor.
That argument is probably easy to say, but hard to sell.
Well, it's going to come down, neighbor, to pointing fingers, and we know how Jamaicans are when it is okay for the opposition to point the fingers, but the moment it is point back at them from the administration, Jamaica views the administration as finding excuses, right? And that for me is something you can do in two ways.
Yes.
Because while we, or even three, while they go ahead and communicate, the reasons why we're locked into this, that's one. Two, we can have people looking at the contracts to see how we can renegotiate and so on. That's the second one. But the third one is something we had the comparative advantage for in the Western Hemisphere, because if memory serves me well, Jamaica was the first railed country.
Yes.
In the West. And I know of the stories in terms of how we lost that, how we a good thing we turned into something that hurt the people of Jamaica. Because the truth about it, neighbor, we could have had an efficient and effective railway service. But of course, under the People's National Party, neighbor, scrap metal was rampant. There were railways sent into scrap metal. Man dig it up. Man I'll build house pan railway, neighbor. Right? But when you look at the railway, there's so much things you can do with it. I managed under the Bruce Golding administration, and thanks to Mike Henry, neighbor, I got to ride the train a few times to school, right? And to see the potential that it has. In fact, we did a research piece for tourism as well. We did for both the ferry to leave from Portmore going over to Kingston. We did one on that, modeling what is done between Trinidad and Tobago, the Twin Island Republics. We look at the railway in terms of how you can move not just the mass, but as a tourism product that could be done. So the rail itself has so much potential to move people. And what this does as well, neighbor, once it's efficient and effective, it reduces the likelihood of people, everybody around come out of school now, university and so on, want a car. That is congestion. We all know what Mandela looks like in the morning going to Kingston and what it looks like in the night. We know what Portmore Toll looks like as well. But if you can have an efficient and effective railway service, which Mike Henry was hell-bound on pioneering back into the lives of Jamaicans, neighbor, we can be doing three things as an administration.
Are you saying to me that there are some restrictions on the development, reintroduction of the rail service here based on the toll situation?
Not just even the toll situation, neighbor. There was a fund with it. And this made the news where Omar Davis actually tied the railway fund for a specific number of years. And the transport minister at the time, which was Mike Henry, wasn't able to utilize that money, right? It was in the same time when they said, the railway was not making any form of money to be self-sufficient, which was a lie. But it is an alternative mode of transportation, neighbor, which the rest of the world understands its use. When you are moving large bodies of people, You need something like that can move. I never hear the train late one day yet from I was taking it, neighbor. Never. Right? And you match that with, let's say, the railway ending at somewhere like a transport center, because you need those to facilitate it. Right? The train will stop at a transport center, which I strongly believe major transport centers, one should be in Spanish Town, like what you have in Half a Tree, and the train stops there and load on the people in working with JUTC, right? Which moves them to and fro. And one of the good things about the rail, neighbor, if we're going long distances, in other countries, you can drive your vehicle onto the rail, you pay a certain amount, which would be less than you taking at all. And you come off, when you want to come off a Mount Rasa, when you want to Manig, in the middle of Center all the way, you know what I mean?
There's a road on the rail.
You just drive it up on the train, neighbor. The open concept, right? Because we have that as an option, you know. It was something, like I said, we put in the research piece. I don't know if I can find it now.
Oh my God. Hold on there, Harry. Please, boy, I tell you, you are such a resourceful person. Winston Stevens on YouTube says the people cannot blame the JLP government for any toll talk. Talk to the PNP. The time people take on the government about TCN, it's PNP they should be talking to. The PNP party, bad decision, destruction. Talk or 7 says, when Mr. Siaga did tell the PNP, said, don't charge the people to go to their yards. Them laugh at the man. And you see what's happening now with the high toll rate to Portmore? Wow. Winston Stevens, 60-44 again, says the country do not have the money to buy out the contract. No, we have too much roads to build all over Jamaica for the rest of the poor people. It's not possible at this point. We need growth. The people don't want to pay toll, student loan. Most Jamaicans don't want to pay anything. They want freeness. So they don't think about what the PNP was doing wrong, because they think things will be for free. Lots of comments coming over there on YouTube. And we are 9 minutes after 10 o'clock. We have to
just a word, neighbor. Even in the United Kingdom, you know that if you are going to Gatwick Airport, you can take the train. You take the train to the train drive just through the airport, just like it's the Knoxford Express will go to Montego Bay. And the people take the train from the airport to the train station and get off and take another train to take them to their final destination where they're going. So, oh Lord, I'm telling you, this is a lot we miss, neighbor, a lot we miss in the 90s, and we are paying dearly for it.
Okay, let me go in and see if I can give my callers a few minutes before I have to come back to member Harry and Dominic to wrap. Danny B, hi. Danny B? No. Hilo? No Hilo, no Danny B. Okay. I've just been sent some information here from a listener on the history of railroads and railways in Jamaica. And the listener is saying that it is extremely important that we must be honest with conversations. I don't know if you want to join, listener, to tell me exactly what you're talking about. Yeah, okay. So, okay, I can't read all of this. All right. I'm going to have to read this afterwards, my friend. So, Harry, you are saying that the rail situation in the country is not something that the government could reestablish fulsomely because of the toll arrangement?
So not necessarily in terms of the toll arrangement, neighbor. It's just that it wouldn't be able to run let's say, adjacent to the toll, but there's nothing against it that says the railway cannot be in the major cities.
Okay.
Right? Which was something we had in. I really need to go and find that piece. I probably have to search tonight. But what it does, neighbor, is it takes what we had from, colonial times, which was the railway, and to modify it to get us to where we are. Because I don't know any nation that moved forward with large numbers of people
without a rail service.
Without an effective rail service.
Absolutely correct.
Because what it does in a neighbor, it not only here's it, and I gave you part of it where it was both the practical part to move the people as well as a tourist thing, because it goes through the gorge and so on. So you can have that tourist aspect to it. It's multifaceted, right? I tell you, say, if people don't want to take the toll, them just put them car up, and you can have an open concept neighbor where you still have the sightseeing and all of that while you sit in your car and you go where the train goes. If you want to come off one of the major towns, you come off, drive off your vehicle, because you already paid for the trip, and you drive go where you want to go. So it is actually one that encompasses different people in different stage of life, right? Now, what that also does in a neighbor, it helps you move goods and services simultaneously.
And cheaper, more cost effective.
Significantly cheaper, right? And what we're looking at is that there's very few things that stop a railway from running. There's no gridlock, right? There's no when you come on to congestion, none of that exists. And it is extremely, compared to the alternatives that we have now, neighbor, it's extremely cheap to maintain a railway as opposed to asphalted roads, for example. Because you have to check an asphalt road every 7 years. That's the lifespan of it to repair. For concrete as an alternative, that's every 30 years. The railway itself, you just have the team goes around and check each rail. What needs to be replaced, you replace, and so on. And what you do, neighbor, is that you build that almost through the middle of the country, where you can touch almost every single parish. So if you have something going to St. Anne and it's running through, easy, very easy. And we had that comparative advantage in the Caribbean, and we squandered it. I believe there's some contractual agreement now. I believe with the Chinese, I'll have to double check. I believe they have some rights to some aspect of it now, but I'll double check and advise the listeners at a later date. But that in itself, neighbor, Mike Henry knew where Jamaica was headed and what we needed, and we should have never faltered when it comes down to our railway service, because it does. So
because he's the multimodal man. The multimodal man.
He is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You talk about the multimodal means of transportation. You talk about air, sea, rail, roads. All the facets. All the facets.
Neighbor, you can imagine you as a farmer, you need to go downtown. You catch a train at 4. I believe when it was running at the time to facilitate school children, it was 5 minutes to 6. You better not reach after that time because the train gone.
Yeah.
Right? And so many different people at different areas
can
get
just imagine 2,000 people boarding a train downtown Kingston. It stops in Spanish Town back down to Old Harbour. So just imagine what that would do with congestion on the road and in the town.
Easily.
And in the town.
Easily. Because what you will have in a neighbor, and then if you want, because this is why I said you link it to the major transport centers, and like I said, I want to see a transport center like what is in Harbour Tree in Spanish Town, because I believe Spanish Town probably neighbor commute more people than Harbour Tree Transport Center. When you look at it, right? Because for those who are going to Kingston, they come through Spanish Town.
Yes.
Majority of persons within that region.
And it's a drop-off point for Old Harbour, Linstead, all of these major towns.
Surrounding communities there, neighbor. And remember, Spanish Town is expanding. There's a new development coming right off what's that, near Willow Dean, major housing construction. So it is expanding, neighbor, going back to Innswood side and so on. And this is ideal because you can stop in these areas. And we have, here's the beauty about it. Last time I checked, which was a few years ago, we had 5 engines, 3 highly effective, efficient, and working engines.
Old but running.
Neighbor, don't watch how them look. Because those said engines can light an entire city and run it. That's how powerful they are.
In terms of the amount of energy they're generating.
Energy it generates, right?
What are you saying to me? Hold on. What are you saying to me, sir? And we had 5.
We had 5. Because understand this, neighbor, when I was taking it in I believe what 2008-9, right? Because it was an adventure for us. We never get to take train in our life, so we see it on every evening. And we used to shoot videos, you know, leaving and going into the tunnels and so on, scenery. And when you look at it, neighbor, it was one engine that pulled it to the Linstead area, going back to Yorton and so on, and the other engine attached to it, pull it, come back at home.
So they have one at back, one at front.
Exactly. And then they had a backup engine that was always functional, was always there, refurbished, ready to run.
So they had 3 on each train.
Exactly, neighbor. Because it was the one set, and then remember, you know, it's separate at the time. It was, I think it was about 5 or 6 cabins that ran, and they expanded it little by little after the first month, 2 months. That was also separate after the train stop runs, because you don't run it right throughout the day, you know. You run it at peak time when people need to go work and school and transport goods.
So these same locomotives that we have, you are saying they are capable of pulling people.
Neighbor, they can move the entire country.
These same ones.
Opportunity. These said ones, neighbor. Remember, you know, how it moves is that once you get the people at the locations, because not like the train running to pick up one people. You have to be at the centralized location. And what you do is you ensure that centralized location, neighbor, can house people. Which is why I say wherever you have major towns or cities, you need something like a halfway tree transport center. The minimum. Right? And the train come, it picks up, if it's running 6 o'clock, it picks up at 6. After it drops off and its first run to 6 going straight to 7 or thereabout, you have another one run at 9. You may have one run at 12 for peak periods there, because people need to move around when you come out to rush hour. You can limit the cabins in that way. Now, the big movement comes in the evening, neighbor, so you don't run the train right throughout the day every single minute. It gets time. If you want to do mini service,
So don't peak hours. You the buses can run. The taxis.
The buses run right through. They because their job is to get the people to the major transport centers. That's what you want, right? And then when that is done, even after the train has finished, for those who may not be able to catch it at the time, don't worry. You have the JUTC, you have the urban, not urban, you have the rural bus system there, and you integrate these things all together, right? Now, the other one I stated, which would, I think, more people would love it, and this was something we remodified. Our lecturer at the time was Miss Aretha Huntley, right? At the Mona School of Business. She actually coined the tourism course herself. A nice little Guyanese woman who I would say is now a Jamaican fully. And what we did, neighbor, was look at how the ferry service could aid certain cities. Specifically, it was the Portmore, because we understood the cost of the toll. And similar to what we studied for Tobago, who is the tourist destination in the Twin Island Republic, we modeled our studies on it. And to say, listen, you can have the ferries run just like anywhere in the world, right across from Portmore there, going straight over to the Kingston Harbor, and you work out the logistics there. That's also job opportunities created heavily. Again, we had the option, if you want to put your car upon it, neighbor, you put your car upon it and you drive go across. When you reach the substation, you drive go across. If the train want link and make us say you go Linstead and you nobody want to drive, you put your vehicle upon the train, you're gone again. These are the things how you move large bodies of people. But what we didn't have in the past are well thinkers and people who cared for what the future would have looked like. Because I understand as a government, you don't plan for today. You have to ensure whatever you do today will last and can be functional, be efficient and effective for future generations just the same. And everything has a lifespan, which means you have to modify it as you go along too.
Yes.
But do not let it be something you want to do, you know. And the government of the past was very short-sighted. They would have done anything just to get back the power for another 5 terms. And that suffocated Jamaica's development. It changed the thinking of Jamaicans to say, listen, I can't trust no transport system, so me want a car. And as such, growing up, my generation, everybody neighbor, them not even say they want to put a deposit down for your house. First thing them say they want a car, no matter what kind of car it be. And we have now ended up in the situation that we have. Not just gas pollution and all of that, but the pollution, it comes out to congestion in cities, where we have to learn how to build smarter. And I know a lot of people when them hear, and I'm going to say it because I want them run with the conspiracy theories, neighbor. When you hear somebody says smart cities, don't think more robots are going to run human beings and all of them stupidness there. There are so many smart cities. In fact, majority of people who travel neighbor, for example, you go London. London is classified as a smart city. But is it one way? So robot control people and government do this and that people? No. Smart city simply means that you utilize the available data, which is the day-to-day life of people. When people move around, peak season, peak period, what levels of water them use, how you handle sewage, what you do with that information as both local government and central government is how you can build to make the people's lives better, more comfortable. And that is what the whole concept of being smart. It's not just about building things. Look at the Mona Reservoir, right? And I don't remember the other one name currently neighbor. They are now at 60%. Had we been building better to know what the carrying capacity is and how to get water to flow back into these areas, we wouldn't have scheduled lockoffs in the Kingston metropolitan area. These are the things we have to do going forward. And I want to tie in what the Prime Minister did with his presentation a few months ago. When they said they're rebuilding Black River going around, it is going to be built on the data that was there and also what they're expecting the cities to be in the future. You use that information to make people's lives better because that's how you protect them, that's how you improve their livelihood, and how you increase their lifespan. I hear Tufton speaking to Jamaica gone up to, I believe, 72.5 years. That's the average life expectancy now. Building better, using smarter cities, also have a great impact on advancing that year in terms of the life that people live. And these are the things you need the technocrats to come in. You need a government that is thinking forward. And you need one that will make tough decisions for the now neighbor. Because to do anything well for the future, there are some bitter medicine that has to be administered. We saw it in 2007. We got some in 2016. And I'll tell people, you might have to take another dose if you want to see the road to Singapore being something we achieve fully. But somebody has to make the sacrifice. A generation has to do so. And I want to tell the current generation, don't be selfish. And don't be hypocritical. And I land in terms of the hypocritical part, neighbor, because we praise our forefathers who fought for our freedom. But we don't want to fight to ensure that we maintain that freedom. And I think that is hypocritical from us. And I want to implore everybody, do what you must to plant that tree, plant that seed. You may never get to see the shade, but be okay with it to know you did what you had to do. You did what was in the best interest, and you do it proudly as a Jamaican.
Fantastic presentation. Mr. Dobney, you want to chip in with your final thoughts?
Yes, but I want to say to what Harry had been saying. I could sit here and listen to Harry all evening because he has connected the dots perfectly. The whole issue of a data-driven planning process, the whole issue of roads and rail comparatively, looking at which can be more effective is what we need to be doing.
Boy, I tell you something, man. When is the party going to call him in as a consultant?
No, he's an effective article. He articulates well and he understands the empirical data that drives his expressions, and that is significantly important.
Yes.
Because when we look at what Harry is saying, the whole issue of a rail, in other words, when you travel overseas, the whole issue of a smart city, I can stand at a bus stop, a ordinary bus stop, and look up and know when the train is coming, what time.
Yeah, smart, yeah. Yeah.
And it is because of the data, and as Harry suggested, that when a train is moving, there is no roadblock. Yes, you can have a situation where situations on a track, but you're going to be aware. And that is not going to, because of the speed in which information becomes available to the operators, it can be remedied within a short space of time and the train is back on its regular schedule. But a delay is, in other words, you're not going to come up into a roadblock. You're going to be able to in other words, to be schedule your time yourself, know when the train is coming. And when you look at the train in developed cities, neighbor, it's not just in other words, everybody, the train has become a melting pot where people decide to park their Rolls Royce, their Lada, their Ford Escort, whatever it is, using, evidencing of who is on the train. From the Prime Minister to the janitor is riding on the train. And it is an effective means of moving people. But what we are looking comparatively at now, neighbor, is a contract of a road system in Jamaica versus an expanding traveling systems, using the waterways with the ferry, using the railroad systems, and collectively, all of them coming together in a very synchronized way to move people based on the best medium that suits your ability to move. The whole issue of goods and services from Kingston to Montego Bay to Negril is always best on rail, because one, timing is going to be effective. The whole issue of going up Mount Ross or using the wear and tear of a motor truck or a motor car or a motor van is going to be costly. So when the rail is effective, then there can be more planning, there can be more effective movement of goods and services, more effective movement of people, and that will make us what you would want to call a fledgling developing country. So, I think we definitely need to look at the terms of the contracts that either prevents us. If we have a cash flow situation, then we can understand. But the contracts ties us into a 50 years of no rail or no adding of additional roadways to give value support to our people in terms of the cost, then we do have a problem that we need to look at how we solve that problem.
Fantastic. Right. I think that we're going to have to bring the curtains down. So I want to say thank you to Mr. Dobney. And tomorrow is Friday. So that's how we have to bring the curtains down on the program tonight. Thank you, Mr. Dobney. All right, member Harry.
Yes, neighbor, I'm here.
Well, you don't get a chance to do this often. So talk to our listeners on YouTube. Tell them to subscribe to the new channel and invite them to join us tomorrow. We're going to be on a little later than 7 o'clock, but we'll send out the time. All right.
All right, neighbor. So YouTubers, soon come pay on a visit as usual. But like every other night, another beautiful program that you have all subscribed to, have stayed tuned to listen to us, having the conversations that matter. Of course, the party is running with Truth Matters, and here has always been truthful. So I want everybody to go to like, share, and subscribe to the Politics Matter JA page. Tell a friend to tell a friend. If you're at work, tell your co-workers. If you even want to go as far as to send them the link and sign up to them subscribe to it, please do, because we want to get to 1,000 as well, so 1,000 subscribers to propel the page going further. And we can't do it without your help. I know those in the diaspora have been doing great, but of course, for Jamaica, we have a lot more to do. And we have a lot of things to sort out and finalize, with projects that are in the pipeline. I think Selburn don't like when we say pipeline in the neighbor.
He doesn't.
But we have a lot to do, and we need your support in that manner.
Yeah.
Of course, the hiccups we've had of late, where we're trying to bounce back from that, build together, build stronger for a better future as well. And we can't do it without your help, because you've made Politics Plus where we are. You've made the Hello Neighbor show. We've had a beautiful team, and we want to continue to deliver to each and every person that listens to us. So like, share, subscribe, tell a friend to tell a friend. For those on TikTok, top up the screen as usual. I'm tired to hear the moderator and Caroline tell them to send the heart knees. Don't make you come another night and say it. Just do the right thing. Those who, I think we're on X and Facebook and so on as well. Thank everybody for the support. Continue to support us as we come out and do the job that will help move Jamaica forward through the conversations that matter. Do hope everybody have a great rest of night. Neighbor, another successful program tonight, very informative.
Yeah, we had to move away from topic tonight. We wanted to talk about how Mr. Mark Golding missed the mark, but the Labour Party Truth Matters meeting, we thought we would carry that. Not true.
Yeah, definitely, neighbor. And truth, even though Mark missed the mark, we'll have many of those moments, neighbor. He's been blessing us with quite a number from September 3rd coming soon to know.
I think I'll do a podcast on that tomorrow, listeners, on YouTube. Mark missed the mark. I'm going to tell you how he has missed the mark, and probably his political career may just be quite over here. All right, we bang on 26 to 11, and we want to say good night to everybody. Take care of yourself. YouTube, please remember to like and subscribe to Politics Matter JA. Politics Matter JA. Your subscription is golden. Thank you so much, and have a fantastic night. By the way, KC on YouTube said that we mustn't worry about the PNP. Them at Portmore. Portmore full of PNP people, Harry.
Neighbor, I just say a comment, Goffman, you've been hiding, man.
Is he here?
Yes, neighbor, I'm just said the Jamaica people should come together and buy out the investors of the toll road. Goffman, I'd love for you to put up the first $1. Put your money where your mouth is, Goffman, because are you not a Jamaican?
Yes. He's but where have he been? Where have Goffman been? Goffman.
Boy, I don't know, neighbor. Maybe Caroline can tell us, or maybe he's been hiding from Caroline.
Oh yeah, I think the page free up now with all the I think the page free up. So, Goffman, you're back in business. Take care of yourself. All right, YouTube. Bye. Mr. Crawford is the man to lead the party forward. Mark days is over. It's time for a new leader, and Mr. Damian Crawford is the man to lead the PNP forward. All right? That's what my friends on YouTube is saying. Want Crawford. All right, YouTube, take care of yourself. Catch you tomorrow. You hear? Bye-bye.